Good evening, everyone. Bob Kurtz, Scotty Miller, and the new addition, Bill Kay, has stepped back. And Billy, good to have you off the disabled list.
I had to check MapQuest to make sure
I
remember how to get
know.
here.
Good to have you back, and you feeling better, I'm sure. And
moving a little better, feeling a little better too. So,
good. Glad to have you back. We missed you this whole.
Boy, you get old, you just don't bounce back as much as you used to.
I hear you.
Gosh, especially don't expect it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, good to have you back in your seat like you normally are.
Thank you.
So, Mark Hall is going to wrap up the West Central football season. Mark, I didn't like that score I saw last Friday at Tri-Central. Tell us the score and give us your thoughts on the game.
I didn't like that score either. I don't think any of us did. But we lost to Tri-Central 17-8 on Friday night. It was all three of our losses. The first half, we struggled to get things going, and when we did get things going, we would have penalties and bring things back. And that was the same thing on Friday. It ended up being 0-0 at halftime. We got the ball to start with in the third quarter, and we were putting together a good drive. Or we got to, I don't know if they called it an onside kick, but it ended up being an onside kick, and we recovered at the 50. So we had great field position to start. Our first play, we ran a reverse to Josiah Rodriguez, who got it down around the 25-yard line. We ran a couple more plays, got it inside the 20, and then we fumbled. And they recovered it. They ran it back to about midfield, and then they took it in a few plays later, and we're up 7-0 at that point. Our next drive, we got a good field position again. Dre Villarreal, they kicked it a little bit deeper, but to our second row this time, and Dre Villarreal returned it out to about midfield again. So we had great field position to start our next drive, and we went right down the field. We were moving the ball well, getting first downs. We get inside the 20, and we fumble again. So
you lost them both times in the fumbles?
Lost both of them both the times. It was either the next play or two plays. They're running the ball. We force a fumble, and Felipe Bazan for us recovers it and runs it back for a touchdown. We make our two-point conversion, so we're up 8-7 at that point, and that's what the score was going into the fourth quarter.
Really?
So we were up 8-7. They had the ball. I want to say it was right around midfield. They ran a play and got their only holding call of the night, so it backed them up. And then the next play, they ran 54 yards for a touchdown.
Wow.
So then they're up 14-8 at that point. We again are driving the ball, and we had success driving the ball all night until we would have penalties. And that was the first half. We would get 2-3 first downs, then get penalties and back us up. Second half, the third quarter was we would drive the ball, and then we were fumbling. Fourth quarter, we got the ball, and we were making our drive. We were going down there, making first downs. Things were going well. We were setting up some plays by overloading some things and making sure we were trying to get them to overload as well on defense so we could get it back to the outside. And we set the play up. We ran one of our jet sweeps, and Spencer took it all the way for a touchdown, but they called us for holding at the 15, which brought it back. And then we unfortunately had some not best behavior on the field, and we ended up getting 2 personal fouls, and that backed up another 30 yards. So the play ended up, we got the ball at 1st and 10, farther back than where we had scored from.
And you showed me the replay. There wasn't any holding on that play.
I completely agree there was not holding. Anyone I ever showed it to, they were like, what holding are you talking about? I'm like, yeah.
That's barely any contact whatsoever.
So it's rough when that happens, but like officiating is difficult. I get that. I understand that, but it's frustrating when you see on the replay that there's nothing happened.
Do they give you any explanation other than that's the way I saw it?
I think they'll just say what number it was and that he held them, and I'm like, okay, I'd like to see it. And when I saw it in film, like it's tough to.
You get even madder then?
Yes, especially when it's sectional, and it like if you're going to lose, I want it to be like, hey, they beat us,
right?
Not a how could it have been different if that didn't happen? Because so at that point they were up 14-8 on us. We score, then it's 14-14. We're going for 2, and we got a chance to take the lead then, and then it's going to be possibly 16-14. I think at that point there were maybe 4 minutes left in the game. So it would have
Wow,
been pretty late in the game. So we ended up not scoring on that drive. We had to go for it on fourth down. On our third down, we had gotten sacked, so it ended up being like, I think it was like 4th and 20, 4th and 25, something like that. But we had to go for it.
Don't have many plays for that, do you?
Don't have many, and we got sacked again. So they ended up having good field position with about 2 minutes, maybe a little bit more than 2 minutes to go. They ended up getting down to about the 11-yard line. We stopped them. We used our timeouts, and they kicked the field goal and made it 17-8, and there's about a minute and a half to go. We were able to make a completion right away and get out to about midfield, a little bit past, and then we couldn't get any farther, and we ended up turning it over on downs, and they took a knee, and that was the game.
Who played well for you?
We had a lot of guys on defense that contributed with a lot of plays there. Jay Villarreal led us with 11 tackles, like he has all year.
He's not a senior, is he?
He is a sophomore.
Oh, good.
Which is really good because he came on really well this year. Led us in tackles, had 102 on the year.
We called his name a lot when we did your game.
Yes,
for sure.
he flew around. He led her like. He was somehow always around the ball, and again had
you
100.
Like those kind of guys.
I do love those guys. 102 tackles. He had 5 fumble recoveries, so that's another thing. He just was around the ball.
Around the ball.
So good things happen. We tell them that all the time. Like if you're around the ball, good things are going to happen. So that's what we try to get our defense to do, and Dre was a perfect example of that. But he played well. Max Scholes, one of our defensive linemen, played really well. It was at halftime. We always tell our guys defensively, don't hit them in the middle of their chest because that's the easiest point for them to block you. You got to attack half man. And he said at halftime, hey, you know this half man thing, that works. I was like, I've been telling you that for 4 years. So he played really well. He had 9 tackles on the night. And like, see what happened when you listened? So he played really well for us on Friday. And just Felipe Bazan, as mentioned, he had that fumble recovery. He returned for a touchdown. I think he had like 5 or 6 tackles on the night. Connor Marlatt had around 5 or 6. Jaden Miller had 6 on the night. So we just had a lot of guys. Jacob Plarski, I think, had 8. So a lot of guys just flying around and getting to the football. And the offense they ran was double tight, veer option. So they were they had some big guys, as I think I told you guys that last week. They had 3 guys that are over 300 pounds, 6'4" type guys that are just huge. And I thought we did a pretty good job of limiting them to what they were trying to do. And they just kind of, by the fourth quarter, end of third, beginning of fourth, they started breaking some runs on us. And but other than that, like first half, I think we held them to 69 yards of offense, which was pretty good. But unfortunately, we just didn't take advantage of it. And we had some opportunities early in the game. Offensively, we missed a guy that was open on one of our deep passes that if we catches it, I think he walks into the end zone. We drop a pick 6 in the first quarter as well. So we had opportunities that we just didn't take advantage of, unfortunately. And this time of the year, you don't get another redo of it. Right. So, but a lot of guys played well offensively. Jacob Plarski led us rushing the ball. Spencer Lehman ended up leading us in receiving. Would have been a lot more if that jet gets in there and is counted. Connor Marlatt played his normal, really, really good game for us and made his reads and got the ball to the right person at the right time. And then Josiah Rodriguez added in a lot of good plays for us. So, again, just overall, the same guys that have been doing it all year, the great team effort. It wasn't just one guy and that was it. We spread the ball around and got people involved, and a lot of people did a nice job contributing. The linemen, again, they're going against some guys that are pretty big on the defensive side, and I thought they did a pretty good job opening up holes. There were some times I thought we should have held our blocks a little bit longer, should have moved our feet a little bit better, stay in front of the guys, but for the most part, we opened up some holes, and that's what we want to be able to do. And again, as big as those guys were, I was pretty pleased with what we were able to do.
Talk about your season.
Well, overall in the season, we finished 8-3. We finished 4-1 in conference. We started off the season 6-0, and then the 3 we lost. We lost by 8, we lost by 2, and then by 9. So we were right there on all of them, and which is, it's hard to take some of those because you feel like, hey, you play here, play there, and how much things are different. And But I think if you would have asked all of our guys, like, hey, if we're within a play of winning every game this year, would you take it? And I think they all would. Especially, and that's one of the things we actually talked about at our meeting on Monday with these juniors and seniors, especially the seniors. Those first 2 years when they were freshmen and sophomores, we only won a total of 4 games. And there's quite a few games where we were not competitive in those games. So that turnaround that we started last year and then we continued this year, and just being able to win games and then to be in games that if we didn't win it, we were there and we had opportunities to. And of the 5 losses we've had the last 2 years, 4 of the games, like, we had chances. Last year with our loss at Culver, we lost. The score is 18-0, but we had 6 turnovers that were all in their territory. So if we don't turn the ball over, like, who knows what happens in that game. This year, as mentioned, we lost to Winnemac by 8. We lost to North White by 2, and then Tri-Central by 9. So, again, we're just right there on some things. And so the senior group, they were a part of a huge turnaround that started last year with last year's senior group. And that's one of the things that we kind of talked about that we've mentioned, I think, off and on here, that last year's group and this year's group of seniors, they had to play when they were freshmen and sophomores. It wasn't a luxury of, hey, we've got enough guys, you guys can get accustomed, get acclimated here to high school football and what it's all about. It was, hey, you guys got to play. And we know you may not be physically ready yet, but you have to play because we didn't have anybody.
You think in hindsight that was beneficial?
Yeah, it is. I mean, they got a lot of experience. They understood, hey, this is what it's going to take. And they were 2 groups that they had good numbers in them. They didn't like losing, and they wanted to be better. And they got in the weight room and put in a lot of good work. And you saw the results the last 2 years that was able to turn around. And like the groups in front of them, we had 2 or 3 years there where I think only had the high number was 4 in a class. So we didn't have very many kids, and that's why these 2 groups had to play a lot, and it's paid off last year and this year. And now the kids that have to replace these guys, they haven't had to do that as much. They've been able to get the slowly, like, put your foot in the water, see how it is type thing, and so we'll see how that works because it's not like they haven't played at all. If you look at this year, our starters this year, they only played 4 complete games all year. The other 7, they were
mercy ruled.
They were getting a break at halftime. So that means our younger guys got a lot of experience. So, and no, it's not like they were starting, but they did play a lot. So it's not like we're just starting from scratch next year. So we got guys that they got in there. They've have an idea of what it's going to take now, and what Friday nights are like. So it's not quite the same when we're back 3-4 years ago where these guys had to be playing as freshmen and sophomores, but they've gotten experience now. So our upcoming guys that are going to be now sophomores, juniors, and seniors next year, our seniors next year, they've had a lot of experience. They've been able to play the last couple of years, and then our to-be juniors, same way. There's not a whole lot of them in that class. There's 5 of them, but 3 of them were starters this year. All right, so we've got guys that are experienced. The other 2, they got in there in those second halves. The freshmen, they all were in there in those second halves, so they've got experience. They were on special teams. So, again, I don't think we're going to be, starting from scratch all over again.
How are the middle school numbers?
Middle school numbers are pretty good. We had, I think it's about 24 on the team. That's 6th grade through 8th grade. And then our youth program that we started this year has got great numbers. Those 3rd and 4th grade play tackle together, 5th and 6th grade play tackle together, and there were almost 50 kids amongst those 4 grades. So those grades, again, as they come up, I think our numbers are going to be pretty consistent with where we've been at here, and hopefully we can add a few more kids here and there, and then once those kids in that 3rd through 6th grade, they start getting up into high school, our numbers should start to increase if we can keep everyone there. And it's going to be, I think, very beneficial for us with the start of that youth league that we did this year, and they had a lot of success. The 5th and 6th grade group, they went undefeated this year. So they're going to continue that. They're going to take that what they learned there, and they're all going to be in our middle school team next year. And then the 5th grade, there will be 6th graders next year. They'll still also play in that youth league, so they'll get more experience there. But they'll be able to take what they've learned and help out with our middle school as well. Our kids are going to be 7th graders next year. They've got great experience at that middle school level from this year that they had to play in it, and then also from that youth league. So I think a lot of those young guys are going to be in good position to help us quite a bit once they get into high school, and I think they're going to continue to grow as we go through this, because our youth program, I think, is in good position. I think our middle school program is going to be in good position, and then hopefully that just all keeps transitioning up the chain there, and we get to high school and we're all going to be in, I think, at least knowing what to do and having hopefully a good foundation and be able to improve upon it, and hopefully we can take us to another level.
How many? What numbers do you have in the junior class that'll be next year's seniors?
We will have 6. They will be there at least right now unless we can find some more kids to come out. But we'll have 6 right now. There will be.
You try and recruit?
Season. Yeah, we one of the things we do on our last meeting is we try to make a list of what guys should we be trying to get that are in the school.
I need a tackle. I need a guard.
And that's one of the things we need. We need linemen. Currently on the roster that we've got, is as far as what's coming back from this current team, we only have 5 linemen.
Let's go recruit.
So linemen is something we definitely need.
Let's go recruit somewhere.
Yeah, there's
hard to entice people to come over to
not a whole lot of
Franceville.
Not a lot of kids to choose from is our problem. So we've got right around 200 kids at our high school. So there's not a whole lot that currently that don't play, but there are a few here and there that they gave us. We ended up getting a list of like 15 kids. So there are some that we can go after and try to get.
Just get a few. That would be great.
If we can get like 5 or so, and then the incoming 8th graders, when they're freshmen, we should be right around 30 again, and that's where we want to be at. So number-wise, that's our goal. That's what we're trying to go find, is try to find 5 or 6 kids to come play football.
Before we let you get out of here, Mark, I know we always give you a chance to say your thank yous, so take it away.
Yeah, start with it would be the senior class, where, again, when they were freshmen, sophomores, they went through a lot of not winning, right? A lot of losing. So they stuck with it. It was just like the seniors last year. They stuck with it, and then in both these groups, I think they are the perfect example of those kids when they're younger of, hey, why am I doing this? Is there a positive that's going to happen in the end of this? And I think both those groups are a great example of it. So we're going to miss people like Connor Marlatt, Josiah Rodriguez, Blake Hughes, Max Scholes, Zach Gilger, Spencer Lehman, Austin Bolin. Those guys are going to be hard to replace. They've played a lot of football for us, but again, I think we got some guys that are going to be able to fill in, and they've got big shoes to fill.
Do you have a quarterback in mind or no?
We have one that was a freshman this year. We have hoping that he continues to grow and develop, and then we'll have to also look at some others, because he is the only other guy on the roster right now that played quarterback. So we might have to look at, can we put someone else there potentially and have at least 2, because we definitely need at least 2. That way, hopefully nothing happens, but if something does happen, we got somebody that can go in there instead of just trying to pull people from all over, which
you've had that experience before.
We've had that experience. So, we've got some guys in mind. Nathan Peter was our freshman quarterback this year, so we're looking.
Is his style like similar to Marlatt's?
Well, this was his first year playing football, so he's learning, and so this off season we are going to need him to have a huge growth to take place, and he doesn't have to be Connor, and that's with our offense. You just have to be able to know who to give the ball to at the right time,
sure.
And then who to take. And if it's your turn, and if you need to take it, then you need to take it. But
and
also
don't drop
just
it.
Read it. Yeah. So I really think that he'll be okay. He'll be able to do some really good things for us. He's a very athletic kid. Right now, this year is just he needed to learn. And I think he's going to continue that. He's a very smart kid, so feeling very, very confident with him going forward. And then other people to thank, athletic director, Mr. Messer, the school board with everything they allow us to do, the superintendent, principal, assistant principal, the grounds crew. This year the field was looking pretty good. I hear that in the future next year we're going to have a giant WC in the middle of our field.
There
so
you go.
That'll be pretty neat. So that'll be something they're going to start doing next year. They got the template. I think maybe 2 weeks ago. So we didn't have a home game after that North White game, so we didn't get to use it. But going forward, that's going to be another huge thing to see there.
I need windshield wipers on the press box too.
Yes.
The driving rain that we were in last time. So holy cow!
Might have to get in line for a request like that.
All right.
But just a lot of people involved, parents, senior parents, all the parents in general. They provide meals for us after the games on away games. Last couple of weeks they've had Thursday night meals for us, and they do throughout the year at different time points for different occasions. So all those parents that they just let their kids play football, and then all the extra things they do on top of that, but providing food, the supporting the kids in those rain games. Like we still had people there. It is pouring rain, and there's people there still cheering. So just the parents, that they do a great job of making sure the kids have what they need, and it's just great to be a part of West Central, and hopefully we can continue to get this thing moving in the right direction and keep it moving forward, and we can sit here next year, but later in November.
Yeah, that's right.
And be talking about West Central football.
You sure had 2 really good seasons here stacked together the last 2 years. Should give you a lot of momentum.
Yes, hopefully that's what we're trying to get across to the kids of looking through like school history. This is one of the best 2-year runs in school history. So it's something that we can be very proud of, very happy with. Like the 8 wins, that ties us as like the 6th best win total in school history. So there's I think 5 other times that we've had 8 wins. So 11 total years in school history have we had 8 wins or more. So there's been I think 5 or 6 they were at 8, and then there was 5 at 10 or more.
And you're starting to expect to win. That's
yes,
the thing
and
I
that's
like.
and that's a great point. The kids, I think in the years past they're like, oh well, we lost. That's kind of what was happened. But this year, there was hurt, and that's what I've. It may sound bad, but that's what I want the kids to feel. It should hurt when you lose. It shouldn't just be oh well, we lost. So what are we going to do next week? It should be hey, this thing hurts bad, and that's what we've had the last 2 years. So for me, that's how I feel every time we lose anyway. So it's just nice to see that I'm not alone in the suffering, and the kids, they want to come back. They want to. What do we got to do to fix this thing? So we want to win.
Mark, we appreciate you coming over each week. We love doing your games, and always love going to West Central, minus the rain. But,
yes.
Enjoy your off season, and we'll see you next year.
All right. Well, hey, thank you for all the things you guys do this Wednesday night, getting a chance to come over and talk to you guys, the announcing of our games, the videoing of our games, and then Arnie's for hosting us here.
Good stuff, right?
Yes, it is.
All right. Mark Hall from the West Central Trojans. Back to talk a little Rensselaer Central football with Chris Meeks right after this.
Working with our customers has been Kentland Bank's trademark for 87 years. We're dedicated to making your visit a lasting one, and helping you achieve your goals is our #1 priority. With 5 locations, Kentland Bank offers all loans needed for today's businesses and families, including car loans, mortgages, agriculture, and commercial loans. We're here to make your busy life less hectic by offering online and mobile banking, bill pay, and P2P payments. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
In agriculture, preparation is important. Dedication is you deciding what to plant and then asking what it will take for a good crop. How much work will it take to produce the final crop? In sports, preparation is vital in becoming the best you can be. Dedication is a will of achievements for a winning desire. Corbett Farms encourages everyone to do their best by having a winning spirit, attitude, and achievement. Your positivity will make a difference. Corbett Farms is proud to sponsor high school sports. Pulver's Psychological Services offers psychological counseling, consultation, and assessment. Locally owned and operated, Pulver's Psych focuses on solutions for the community and serves as support for individuals, families, and organizations. Whether you're in need of personal, family, or success counseling, Pulver's Psychological Services can help you reach your life goals. Increase work satisfaction, have better relationship compatibility, improve sports performance. Get in touch with Pulver's Psychological Services by visiting pulverpsych.com.
Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Joe Goodeman has been serving the Jasper County and surrounding area since 2009. Being involved in the area, Joe Goodeman has kept his interest in making sure he provides the best insurance for his clients. Whether you need life, car, home, business, farm and crops, or even renter's insurance, Agent Joe Goodeman will keep searching for the best policy for your valued investments. Call Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Joe Goodeman at 219-866-4694 or stop in at 2570 North McKinley Avenue in Rensselaer.
Shanley Construction, Pools, and Excavating has been improving area homes and businesses since 1973. Whether residential or commercial, they offer lawn care, installation of above-ground and in-ground pools, plus pole barn and new home construction. Shanley is your source for new driveways, parking lot expansions, as well as fence row and building site clearing. Start your project by calling Jim Shanley at 219-866-5955. Shanley, Rensselaer-based, family-owned. Call today.
Bob Kurtz, Bill Kay, and Scotty Miller back with you at Arnie's in Rensselaer, right across from St. Joseph's College. Come on out and join us. Meet you at Arnie's. We very much appreciate them opening their doors, feeding the coaches and giving them drinks too, so we appreciate that. We couldn't do it without them, that's for sure. And joining us now is Chris Meeks one last time from the Rensselaer Central Bombers. Chris, how you doing this evening?
Good. How are you?
Good. Let's go back to last Friday night. Tell us who you played and talk about the game.
Yeah, we played West Lafayette, and not an unfamiliar foe, as you know. They're in our conference, and year in, year out, a perennial favorite in 3A football, and this year's no exception. They came in with 3 losses, but their 3 losses were to 2 of them undefeated and one of them with 1 loss, Harrison, Hamilton Heights, and Tippecanoe Valley. So we knew they were an outstanding program. First time we played them, we lost 40-6, but I felt like we did a ton of positive things. And, you know, that was our attitude coming into the game last Friday, was that we had grown as a team since when we played them earlier on, and moved guys around and was playing a lot more confidence. And we were expecting it to be a heck of a ball game. And truth be told, it really was. You know, the first time we played them, we had a hard time getting them off the field. We moved the ball effectively, but we struggled with their run-pass option game. But Friday night, you know, the first 3 times they had the ball, we forced them to punt. And, you know, it took us a little bit to get going offensively, but then we put together a nice drive. It was 0-0 after 1 quarter. We scored first to go up 7-0. We had them in a third and 15 at their own 15 or 20-yard line, getting ready to get the ball back. And unfortunately, we suffered a significant injury. Adam Mailer, our do-everything offensive, defensive lineman, suffered a severe leg injury. And you want to talk about knocking the cells. I mean, it knocked the wind right out of us. And that's unfortunate. But I think it says a lot to what he meant to our team, his leadership. You know, that he was our run stopper, and he was stopping the run up the middle. And then when he went out, then we had to put another young kid in there, knowing that Graham Drone had been out. You know, so he'd been out the last 3 weeks. So 2 of our 4 seniors that play interior defensive and offensive line were out, and then they exploited our young kids up the middle. So then you gamble, try to stop the run, and then they got their passing game going. So, again, we were up 7-0 in the second quarter. It looked like we had a lot of momentum. Crowd was into it. Our team was into it. And when Adam went down, things just kind of changed. We were down 21-7 at half, and then from there we ended up getting beat 42-7. But, it'd been interesting to see how that game would have played out. Not saying we would have beaten them, but I think we would have gave them one heck of a game, and it'd been interesting to see how it would have finished with if we were full strength.
Who played well for you?
Again, a lot of kids played very well. Diego Hernandez-Reyes, 82 yards rushing, 1 touchdown. That put him right around the 1,700-yard mark as a junior. I think he finished right around 30 touchdowns for the season. Defensively, Logan Metzger had 16 tackles. Again, just a sophomore. Aaron Barco, our senior, do everything. Plays wing. He plays, basically anywhere that we put him. He plays there and plays well. He had 15 tackles. Quick story about him. You guys always ask to see if we're healthy. It seems like this past week was the week that we found our injury bug. Aaron, in a fluke accident Wednesday night, 2 nights before the game, got his finger completely smashed to where it ripped the nail off. And they had to put stitches in the nail bed. Oh. And so we didn't know till Friday morning if he was even going to play or not. So he played, but he couldn't touch the ball. So that, it hurt us in the return game and, running the ball and catching the ball and so on. So he had to play basically, it looked like a ping pong paddle on his hand to protect it.
Oh,
but, he couldn't wrap, but boy, he'd throw his shoulder into guys and still get 15 tackles. So, hats off to him.
Man.
Shows the toughness he has. Ryan Kellner had 9 tackles for us. Diego had 9 tackles. Caden Doyle from his defensive end position had 8 tackles. And again, these are kids that, when Doyle started the season, he was at linebacker. As we moved through the season, we found out he's a better defensive end. Diego, we weren't sure if he was going to be, a safety or corner. He ended up playing linebacker for us. Kellner was a defensive end starting the season. Into the season, he's a linebacker. So a lot of movement as far as moving kids around. And
Does that happen every year like that or no?
No, it really doesn't. But we had to keep tinkering and trying to get the right combination. Offense, defense, and special teams. And we felt like we had a good combination at the end of the year. Had a 4-game winning streak, and ended up losing a tough game to West Lafayette to end the year. But again, a lot of these kids will be back. We lose some tremendous seniors, but a lot of kids will be back, so a lot of things to look forward to. One more shout-out to our kicker, full-time soccer player, part-time football player, Kyler Sigmund. But, man, he made the most out of his leg and really did a great job for us. Great job punting and kicking that night. Kept them in bad field position and did everything that we asked for him to do this year.
What do you think of your season?
We finished 6-5. Bill's got it sitting here. Started off with a crazy game against KV, and I think Coach Kennedy will tell you too that last 5 minutes of the game almost put us both in the ground because I think there was 5 or 6 turnovers in 5 minutes, and it was crazy. But we ended up winning 28-27. But those first games are notorious for those type of games. You just don't know what to expect. And then we had a nice win over North Newton on the road, and then we go on a 4-game losing streak. And, we played tough at Western and played tough against Twin Lakes, but just wasn't good enough at that time to win. So, we started moving things around, even changing philosophy a little bit about what we were doing, offensively, defensively, and special teams. And I think the key point to the season, though, was halfway through the season when we played Lafayette Central Catholic. And that second half, man, I thought we played very well against a very, very good football team, one that very well could win a 2A state championship. Outscored them in the second half. I thought we were physical. Our defense was holding them down. Our offense was moving the ball, and we had an opportunity to cut that to within 1 score if we could have just finished out a drive in that fourth quarter. So, I felt like that was the turning point. Then after that, we went on a 4-game winning streak, and then, like I said, lost to a very good West Lafayette team at the end here. So, roller coaster is a good way to describe it. But lots of improvement and, lots of things to look forward to. It was a fun year. I started head coaching back in 1999.
Holy cow.
Yeah. And when I look at the years and stuff, man, this ranks right up there as far as great kids, positive attitudes, motivated to work, motivated to get better every day. And, it was a joy to go to practice every day.
had a real young quarterback this year. Do you think he made good strides and, got a lot of good experience?
I do. We like to talk about the ladder. And last year, he started to get up on the ladder, started his high school career at the JV level as a freshman against a pretty competitive schedule. And we could just see him developing into what we thought was going to be a very good varsity quarterback one day. This year, he got the opportunity to start. And, the thing that stands out with me on him is his composure. He doesn't get flustered. If he throws an interception, he stays even keel, doesn't let it keep bothering him. Or if he throws a touchdown pass, he stays even keel. So I think that's important for a quarterback, the composure, being even keel, and being coachable, and on top of that, very talented. One of the things that we're going to do next year, and we've already started talking about it, is we've got to have him more of a threat in the running game. And we need to get him out on the edge, on the perimeter, on bootlegs, and run-pass option type things. So we feel like we've got some great receivers to throw to. But, we have to have that threat of possibly throwing or running. And, we've got some big plans for him. And I know he's looking forward to embracing what we have planned for him next year.
Remind me of the days of Jacob Kage.
There you go.
Yeah.
He was such an ideal run-pass dual option.
He was pretty good. Now, we were actually talking about him today. He's a great person. If we could get another one of those, that would be awesome.
Let's talk about your seniors.
Yeah, we had 5 seniors, 4 full-time, and then one that
That's not
played
very
soccer.
many for you guys, really, is it?
No. But we would rather have quality than quantity, and this was quality. It really was. Kyler Sigmund. Kyler was a kid that I had in my weightlifting class last year, and very, very good soccer player. And we just got talking one day, and I thought I would try to hint around about football. Then I just came out and I said, "Why don't you just come out and kick for us?" And I wasn't sure where it would go, and he said, "Sure." Well, that was easy, and he was all about it. So his obvious first love is soccer, and he, like I said, he was a tremendous soccer player, but then he would find time in the summer to kick on his own. So he would go out to the practice field or at home and work on punting and kicking. And when we got together, start of August, he was pretty good. We just needed to get things timed up as far as with the long snapper and the holder and stuff. And, I think he kicked a 37, 38-yard field goal in a game this year. Had a couple field goals. Had some great kickoffs for us. Could spot the ball where we wanted it. Some tremendous punts. So, he was everything that we wanted in a kicker. So, he was a great addition and always had that positive, competitive attitude. Aaron Barco, 4-year starter. His first start for us was his freshman year in the tournament up at Andran. And we were in a dogfight game, and he started at safety. And at that time, I think he was probably 125 pounds. And now he's probably 145, 150 pounds. But, man, he hits like he's 220 pounds. Mm-hmm. But tremendous competitive young man. Played wingback, led us in receptions this year with 450 yards receiving. Also ran the ball effectively, was great in the return game. So, he was a tremendous talent. Caden Rowland. Caden moved here from North Newton. We had the opportunity to coach him for a couple of years. Started off at running back for us, and we moved him to tight end and did a very good job blocking and catching the ball for us at tight end. And then also this year we played him at defensive end some, but Coach Zacher wanted to try him at safety this year once he got back from his injury, and did a nice job for us at safety, communicating, making sure people knew where they needed to be, and was a leader on our defense in terms of instructing and barking out signals and stuff that Coach Zacher wanted. Graham Jerome. Graham's interesting. Graham, and I've known him for a long time, but I watched him in middle school, and I would bet $100 that he could beat anybody in shooting free throws. And that was his claim to fame in middle school or elementary school, was at Knights of Columbus. He went down to the state free throw shooting competition and placed real high down there, and just a tremendous basketball player. Then we start looking at him as a football player, and you could just see him develop year after year after year. So we in the beginning, I think we took a basketball player and developed him into a football player, and now here it is his senior year, and he was one heck of a football player when it was all said and done. Graham's one that never came off the field. He played offensive line, defensive line. He was our long snapper. He was on kickoff return team, and he was a tremendous leader, very, very good talent, and played hard every down. And again, he had all the attributes that we want in our seniors. And then Adam Ayler. Adam comes from a long line of Aylers. It was brought to my attention Friday night after the game that I've had an Ayler on my roster ever since 2005.
Wow.
Yeah, so this will be the first time that next year that we won't have an Ayler.
Uh-oh.
But anyway, Adam played offensive line, defensive line. Again, never came off the field, played special teams. Tough, hard-nosed kid. When you look at that West Lafayette game, he was really dominating the line of scrimmage. Had a great game going when he came out, and again that really punched us in the gut. But again, that's a tribute to him, what he meant to our team, and how valuable he was in that game. But all these guys, you could say, great leadership, great positive attitudes. I think we've made it well known that we were playing with a lot of young kids, but somebody has to glue them together. We can coach them. But out there in that game, the seniors, through their leadership and through their, chemistry building abilities, has to pull it all together. And they did. They did. And a lot of times, they'd control things in the locker room. If there's a kid down or if some kid fumbled or whatever at halftime, they're talking to them. And just tremendous leadership, great kids to be around. And we're looking forward to the great things they'll do moving on in life.
About the future for Rensselaer Bomber football.
Well, we had a roster of 42 young men. We lose 5, so we've got 38 guys coming back. And again, I said it from day one, and I'll say it again. We are very, very talented. There's a lot of teams that are talented, so we've got to build off that. So we got to hit the weight room. We've got to keep working on our football fundamentals, become better tacklers, become better blockers, and all the different things. But, I think if we do, and I know the kids' work ethic, I think if we do what we need to do this summer, and just from listening to them and talking to them, we have, I'll just say it right now, we have very high expectations next year. We've put ourselves in position to have a very, very good year next year. We'll be moving down to 2A, which is
tell us why that is.
Well, when we did our enrollment 2 years ago, when they classified, our enrollment was like 529. Since then, our enrollment has came down to 454. So we won't even be close to the top of 2A. We'll be in the middle of 2A. So we will be a 2, and that's what we are. We really are. Rensselaer is a 2A school. We've competed well in 3A, but we're a 2A school. So that we're going to where we belong. We're going to be playing schools comparable to us. When we play at West Lafayette, they may have 1 or 2 guys going both ways, where we've got 9 or 10 guys going both ways. And that's just the way it is in 1A and 2A football. So the depth becomes an issue playing these 3A schools. They'll have a roster of 70 kids. We got a roster of 40 kids. So, we're looking forward to the 2A tournament. We'll be in a different sectional, obviously. And with 38 guys coming back, and like I said, I think it's a very talented roster. I think we have a whole lot to look forward to.
It seems, Chris, like a key in high school, especially the small schools, keeping those young kids. 5 kids as a senior class, that's not enough to dominate anybody.
And there is something to be said for that. I mean, but that's small school football. And I'll give you an example. Our 8th grade group, we're not going to get many football players out of there. But what you need to recognize is that's a class of about 90 kids. And 1/3 of them are boys.
You mean?
Total. And 1/3 of them are boys. Wow. So there's not a whole lot of boys. Yeah, and some of them play soccer and some of them play tennis and some of them just don't play sports. So, but then the next class, the 7th grade class, is a tremendous group as far as a lot of football players. So that's the small school football. But if you're going to have a small class, make it be a good one, and that's what we had in this senior class. I wouldn't trade this senior group for anything. I thought they did a great job, and at one time we were 2-4, and through their leadership, they held things together, kept things positive, and that's how we got to a winning record. And when I look at the youth of our football team through our seniors' guidance, I think our guys know the way to be successful, and I think we have a lot to look forward to. What happens, and you guys know this, you take 14 and 15-year-old boys, add a year of muscle to them, and they start maturing. There's a big difference between a sophomore and a junior, or a freshman and a sophomore. So we were looking statistically, we've got like 95% of our offense coming back next year as far as yards. So we've got a lot coming back. Defense, we returned 9 out of 11 starters. So the future looks bright, but you just can't live on the possibilities. We got work to do, and we've got about 8 months to get in that weight room, get after it, and we're going to set some lofty goals.
I'm going to ask you, since you've been around a long time, are the kids these days stronger, faster at a younger age than they were in 1999, or not?
I don't know. There's more possibilities. I mean, especially in your cities, there's places you can go to work out and different things. When I was growing up, we didn't have places to go in town to lift weights and stuff. We had to wait to get into
one weight room
with a universal machine.
Yeah,
you remember that?
Universal.
Yeah, and everybody's sweating on each other. Yeah. So there's a lot more possibilities now, and so are they stronger? I don't know if they're stronger, but there's a lot more things they can do in terms of development of football. Like the Colts is great. So if you live down in the Indianapolis area, any Sunday night you could go to the Colts complex and play 7-on-7. Wow. If you live out by Westfield, you can go to Grant Park and do all their things that they have there. Up north at Crown Point, they've got their indoor football there all throughout the winter, and soccer and stuff like that. So there's a lot more things to do in terms of enhancing your athletic ability.
Your schedule's changing a lot next year.
Man, it is. Like a lot. So we have 4 changes next year. We'll start off at Kankakee Valley, which I love that. It's a tremendous rivalry. Both communities get into it, and let's just all jump into the fire at once, both communities.
Really turned out to be a great move, putting that as your season opener.
It is. Yeah. Well, at one time, I don't even think we were playing there for a while, and we got to play. Both schools got to play it, and both. I love the student bodies. I mean, both student bodies get into it, and when we win the Cracker Barrel, we celebrate it. We put it in a trophy case. We don't talk about it again. But the students love it. And you go to a basketball game and they're chanting Cracker Barrel back and forth. So I think it's great for the communities, and I think it's great for the students. But that's week 1. Week 2, we played North Newton, which is a longtime rival. Week 3, this is the new one. Brace yourselves. We will be loading the bus and headed to Woodstock, Illinois. So Woodstock, Illinois is up past Gurney. They said if you go outside the school, look to the north, and throw a rock, you can hit the Wisconsin state line. Wow. The Mossels family, they're up in Milwaukee. They said it's a 45-minute trip. They'll be coming down to watch us play. So Woodstock is a great tradition. They've won a state championship. It's a school of 1,200 to 1,300 kids, so it's going to be a tremendous challenge. But I think it's a great challenge for us to play them. Then we play West Lafayette. Enough said on that. Tipton, they will come on our schedule full-time now. Lafayette Central Catholic, Benton Central. We'll be adding a new one in River Forest. So Northwestern goes off the schedule. They go out of the conference. River Forest will come on as a team that we'll be playing. And then our last game will be 4A Logansport. And Logansport will be in the conference in the other division, but it won't count as a conference game, but it's like a non-conference game for us.
No crossover game.
The only crossover is week 4, and we'll be playing somebody in that division. So West Lafayette this time. It could be, in the future. I think it's 2-year movement on that. So Twin Lakes could come on for 2 years. Western could come on for 2 years, and then Hamilton Heights could come on for 2 years. And we'll keep that rotating.
Not East and West either.
No, we're going to go big school, small school. So our small school division will be Rensselaer with 454 students, Benton Central with around 500 students, Lafayette Central Catholic, and Tipton. So we are the 4 small schools. And then Twin Lakes, West Lafayette, Western, Hamilton Heights, and Logansport. Those are the 5 big schools.
You still got it.
Yeah, I struggled, but I did get it. Yeah.
Thank
Coach,
you.
we're going to hopefully celebrate your 200th victory this time next year by the 192 and 105. What a great record. And you're
Well,
Hall of Fame coach.
I appreciate that, but here's how this brain thinks. I celebrate just any time we can get a victory on a Friday. That is so much fun. It really, and I always appreciated that, but when we went on that 4-game losing streak, oh my God, I mean, just dying to get a win. And so anytime we get a win, we celebrate it. It's awesome. So, and we enjoy it. Some thank yous. Want to thank all of our sponsors. Rensselaer community has been tremendous supporting not just football, but all of our sports. If you come through town on a sectional week, and it's been a tradition forever, they allow our parents to come out and paint the windows, and huge support, and monetary support, and we are very thankful for all our sponsors for all they do, including Arnie's, putting on the show here, and they've been a big supporter of Bomber football and all our high school sports. I want to thank Dr. Jack Jerome and Dr. John Ayler. They are very instrumental in our filming. Anytime you see that bomber tunnel out, that's Dr. Ayler getting it out there situated with his crew. But both those guys have been supportive from the very beginning, and I want to thank those guys. Gary Brosh and all his crew up in the press box, from playing music to announcing games to keeping time and all that, and that's for all our levels. So great job there. Our longtime chain gang, they've always been there. And
who are they? Do you know their names off the top of your head there? I'm sorry.
I do, but I don't want to miss one.
Okay.
But yeah, they've been there forever. Kenny Healy is retiring after doing it for several years, and I don't know how many years he's done it, but I know he's done it for decades. So he will be missed. But there's a group of 3 or 4 of them that do it constantly, and they do a tremendous job.
Is the chain gang ever going to go away? I heard him talking about this the other day. I mean, there's methods
ways
now.
to do it,
You can do it a lot better, but
artificial intelligence. They're
Yeah.
gonna have robots or
Yeah,
something.
there you go.
It wouldn't surprise me. But no, I like the human element.
Yeah.
But our statisticians want to appreciate our appreciation to them. Carol Mentor, Randy Denton, Kyle Wright, our concession stand crew, great job. Field maintenance, Cliff Wood with his mowing, and then Chris and Andrew Northcutt when they do the lines. I don't know if you guys know it or not, but those guys work during the day, and you'll see them out doing the lines from 5 o'clock in the evening to 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. So thank you to those guys.
you got an organization here, don't you?
We do. I mean, it takes a village to do this, and we're very fortunate with the village we have. Want to thank our wives and families. My wife has been very supportive all these years, and she's been with me from the beginning. There's times that she wants to wring my neck. I mean, she has to talk me off the ledge sometimes, but she's my voice of reason. And
Do you talk football after the game?
we talk football all the time.
All right.
Yeah, and if something doesn't sound right, she will straighten me up, and I appreciate it. My 2 daughters do the same thing, so I appreciate that. And I think every football coach will tell you there's a wife behind them that keeps them in line, and I'm definitely an example. But all of our wives and our families, want to thank them for allowing us coaches to do what we do. All of our middle school coaches, all of our high school football coaches, lots of time. I got one sitting back here, Coach Radke. He's got to time out his girls basketball coaches and then still be at our football practices during the tournament. And then he's got his family and church and all these different things. So we are so appreciative to everything they do and the preparation and the work they do with kids. So thank you to them. Want to thank our parents. Our parents are the ones that bring these kids every day to practice, pick them up, make sure they get paid for as far as camp and all the stuff they need, and decorate the windows and the team meals and all that, and decorate the school. And I have been, and our coaching staff's been very blessed with tremendous parents at Rensselaer. So big shout out and thank you to them. And then want to thank our players. You know, if it wasn't fun, I wouldn't do it. And if it wasn't fun, you know, our coaches wouldn't do it. Coach Radke wouldn't do it. None of these guys would do it back here. You know, the kids make it fun. I'm competitive. These guys are all competitive. And as long as our kids are competitive, that keeps our juices flowing. And, you know, I can't go out and tackle anybody. But, you know, I can encourage kids to tackle people, and that keeps our competitive juices going, and it makes it fun for us. So, we've been, like I said, we've been very blessed with tremendous players and just good people, good humans. And then want to thank you guys. You guys, hopefully you keep doing this for the next 10, 20 years. And enjoy coming here, visiting with you guys. And, my God, I remember you as a newspaper writer years and years and years ago. But
80s, yeah.
Yeah.
80s, I mean.
Yeah.
In the 80s, yeah.
And the K family is huge in Rensselaer, and then there's Scotty over there. Had him in school, and a lot of great memories there. But you know, it's fun for me, and it's fun for these guys to come visit with each other, but to visit with you guys. And
you guys are great together. I mean, you guys. I don't know if you know it or not, but even after the show's over with, you guys are still back there chatting away.
Yeah, we chat, and we've done a few things back there. But no, they're great guys, and you know, when I'll give you an example. Just last week, you know, we had just lost our game, and it's disappointing, obviously, to lose, and your season's over. But then word got back to us that KV was in overtime. So, you know, we're pulling for KV.
Sure.
Now, the week we play them, we're not.
Right.
You know, it's a huge rivalry. But we have great friendships with the KV people and North Newton people, and so we're all pulling for each other. And sometimes when we have a tough week, it's great to come here and just counsel each other and you know, just sound off on them a little bit, and they sound off on us, and that's a good thing. It's called friendship, I believe.
All right, Chris.
You know, one name I'd like to just throw out there. I know you mentioned Gary Brosh's crew, but Russ Martin, the voice of the Bombers, boy, you've got one of the best there. He's just tremendous.
He is the best. We go all over, and you know, even places we go, they talk about our announcer, and he's the ultimate professional. You go some places, and it's really you know, Homer City. As far Russ isn't like that, and you know, it still gives me chills down my spine when he announces the Bombers line up in victory formation, and you know, that's a great trademark of his, and again, I hope he stays around for the next 2-3 decades, because he's very good at what he does, and he's definitely an icon in Rensselaer athletics.
All right, Chris. So we enjoy doing Bomber football. Enjoy having you come each week and chat with us, and have a good off season. And we'll see you down the road. All right.
All right. Hey, thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
All right. Chris Meeks from the Rensselaer Central Bombers back with more. This Coach's Cage on 3kgthecage.com.
Founded in 1931, Community State Bank in Brook is your community bank. We specialize in relationship banking while offering the technology required to meet your modern banking needs. Community State Bank is the area leader in new construction loans and home mortgages. Our lenders know small business and have products to meet your farm and business needs. We're available to get to know you and your needs today at 224 West Main in Brook, or by calling 219-275-2441.
Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Hi, this is Chuck Clark with the Underwood Insurance Agency, formerly Preferred Insurance Group. Are you tired of being sacked every month with your auto insurance bill? Do you feel you just pay your premium to your agent and never hear from them? We at the Underwood Insurance Agency work with over 10 insurance carriers to get you our best rate and coverage we can, and we pride ourselves on serving our customers like they are our family. We are conveniently located in Remington and Lafayette. We can be reached at underwoodagency.com. Reach out to us to score big savings.
High-quality, personalized dental service is what they do at Hillcrest Dental. For over 40 years, generations have relied on Hillcrest Dental for beautiful, healthy smiles. Dr. John Ayler and Dr. Jack Drone look forward to seeing you for your next dental visit. For information or to set your appointment, call 219-866-7117. That's 219-866-7117 or visit hillcrestdental.net. Hillcrest Dental is a proud sponsor of all high school athletics.
24/7 Club Fit is a 24-hour keycard accessed fitness center located in downtown Rensselaer. The 8,000 square foot facility offers free weights, weight machines, and a large variety of cardio equipment. We also offer free aerobics classes. 24/7 Club Fit offers 6-month contracts starting as low as $25 per month for students, those 55 years and older, and there are no sign-up or keycard fees. We also participate in the Silver Sneakers program. Call 219-866-0033 or contact us on Facebook. 24/7 Club Fit, where time is no excuse.
Meet you at Arnie's, Rensselaer's go-to pizza and so much more. Pizza, sandwiches, burgers are here. Don't forget about dessert. Wings, cheese sticks, garlic bread too. Arnie's pizza menu has something for everyone. Dine in or carry out in the best pizza in town. Located across from St. Joseph's College in Rensselaer. Call 219-866-9999 and meet you at Arnie's.
Scotty Miller running the camera and the board tonight. Bill Kay and Bob Kurtz with you. And, Bill, we've stalled around long enough here. We got to November anyway. And
you guys finally figured it out.
We finally had to invite Wes Radke to join us. Girls basketball, Rensselaer Central style, and kick off this week, right?
Kick off tomorrow night at West Central. So we're looking forward to that and excited. It seems like it's been forever since we played a game, so we're really looking forward to it.
What'd you finish last year, and how many people did you lose? Not many, right?
No. So last year we finished 14-10, and we lost one senior, and she was a good teammate, a good player for us, a good representative of our program, and Lola Chamness. She's now at Bloomington now and going to school and doing some good things there. So we just lose her, and then everybody else came back. So we got everybody else back, including Jessie Fleming, who we lost towards the end with an injury with her. She tore her labrum, so she had surgery over the summer and fixed that. So she's back. And then we got a good freshman class that came in. So we're looking really good and a lot of excitement coming into this year.
Do a lot in the summer?
Oh, we did. We played a lot in the summer. We did a lot more things team-wise and skill-wise and working together, trying to continue to build upon what we wanted to establish about halfway through the season last year. Try to do some different things offensively, then trying to get some more movement out of the girls and trying to as a coach, and you've heard these other coaches, you have to be able to adjust to what you have. And the type of team that I have and the girls that I have and their skill sets, I would be doing them an injustice if I just had to do it my way and my way only. So I've learned enough in all these years that whatever hand you've been dealt, you have to be able to work with, and that's what we've done. And the girls have responded really well. And summer, we had a really good time. Again, we went back up to Wisconsin, played up there against some good competition. The girls really grew together as a team. We played some other tournaments. We went to Portage and played against Portage and a few other bigger schools up there. And then we went to IUSB and played in the tournament there against Elkhart Central and against Mishawaka. And I mean, we really just not only just impressed me, but impressed other people that were watching the girls play. They were excited. We went to Valpo and we played against Lake Central there and some other big schools there as well. So I really tested them this summer with some bigger schools and better competition. I mean, we played Lake Central twice. Lake Central, if you don't know, is one of the top top teams in Class 4A and especially in the region up there, and they got some really good players. So, and we played well against them. They got us a few times, but we were right there neck and neck, and it was fun to watch and be a part of this summer. So, things are going really well.
Numbers?
We got 16 girls.
Happy with that or no?
Yeah, I mean there are 16 girls that want to go to battle with me and want to be coached. I love coaching every single one of them. There's not one girl on my roster that I would say, nah. No, I love coaching every one of them. They all have the great mindset of we're going to keep getting better. Would some people like to have more numbers? Yeah, but if those kids aren't going to be all in and going to do what I ask them to do and going to be problems, then we don't need that. So we want girls that are going to buy into the program, buy into the system, and continue to build a legacy that previous girls ahead of them have done and laid the foundation down for these girls to continue to build upon what Lady Bomber basketball is all about.
Why don't you give us a little preview on some of your key personnel, what your rotations are going to be like, and things like that?
So, Taylor Van Meter is coming back after having a great season last year, and Taylor's got some offers out there already. She got offered from Valpo. She's got some other offers on the table, and some
only
other schools.
A junior too, right?
Only a junior. So they obviously it didn't take long to watch Taylor play to realize she's something special there, and there's a great athlete there. But the greatest thing about her is she is a heck of a teammate, and I would tell that to anybody and everybody. And when I talk to college coaches about her, they get excited when I say she's a heck of a teammate. She never thinks she's better than anybody else. She runs as hard as anybody else. She does every drill just as hard as anybody else does. She never tries to cut corners on me. So she does a great job with that, and that makes her because of her height and her skill set, makes her a very hot commodity for a lot of these college coaches. So, she's still got a few colleges to continue to visit, but we're looking for some great things out of her this year, and only a junior. The next one, Carly Drone. I really think Carly Drone has a lot of upside to her, continues to improve daily. Again, has a great attitude. Has got some size to her as well. Can step out, knock down a three. I mean, she can put down threes really quick. We've encouraged her this summer and over the break to work on her driving game to the hole, and she's picked up on that. She does a nice job seeing the floor, so we're really excited about her continuing to grow. She played against some really good competition this summer, and it benefited her. You can just see her confidence, and so we're excited about having her back. And then you look at our three seniors that we have, because we only have three. And one of them being my daughter Bailey Radke, who's done a great job being a good leader for these younger players. Someone that I could tell I need this done, and it gets done. She knows her role on the team. She knows what needs to be done and how I want it and how I expect things to be done. And then the great thing about her is she can step out and knock down the shot too. And so she adds a lot of depth off the bench with us, being one of our senior leaders. And then I have the other two, and Sarah Kaufman, who seems like she's been around for a long time. She started for me. She's played varsity for 4 years for me. The kid is just doing a phenomenal job. And this year, I thought last year there was times I saw glimpses of what I know she can be. And this year I just have a feeling like this is – and if you ever want to have a breakout year, I would encourage and I encourage her to have that this year, the breakout year where Sarah worked on her shot over the summer. Sarah put the time and effort into being a triple threat athlete for me on the floor, where she can shut people down defensively, she can rebound, she can run the floor, she can shoot. I mean, she plays soccer like a beast. She's a heck of an athlete, and I think she's going to be an even better basketball player this year than we've had in the past. And she's a heck of a leader. She leads by example. She's not the most talkative, but she leads by example, which is good for these young girls. And then last but not least, as far as my seniors go, Cadence Mann's coming back. Had a great breakout year last year. Phenomenal kid, great speed. got more consistent in her outside shot. She hit some big shots for us last year. And looking at last year in particular, she had a good look there in that sectional game. And I know that's drove her. She missed it, but I know this summer and it continues to drive her to continue to get better. So the next time she has that shot, she'll go knock it down. And again, those three young ladies are great senior leadership so far. They've taken these young girls and shown them what to do, and it's just been good. The next one's, Jessie Fleming coming back off of that injury and looking for her to get back into her groove of things. She was playing really well and up until the point she got hurt. So she brings another added defensive stopper and another threat for us that we were kind of lacking towards the end last year when she did get hurt. So looking for some really good things out of her. And then you can look at Cameron Rowland and Brody Radke, both of them sophomores, played a lot of minutes last year. Brody being my daughter and Camry, playing for me. And you've watched her. You've seen her. She's got a high motor, great basketball intelligence, great court awareness. The kid doesn't like to lose. She battles at every aspect of the game and just loves the game. And it has a lot of upside to her as well. So, those two sophomores and Brody being able to continue to go inside, outside for us. And she worked on her shot all summer long, too, as well. So, her and Camry both have been very consistent in their shots outside. And then I get a kid like Brooke Keipke who, doesn't have the biggest height, but works hard and asks her what I do. And she's a good role player for us. She knows what she needs to do, does the dirty work, gets on the floor, and gets after things. And then if you look at, that'll round off my varsity team there. I have two freshmen, and Courtney Matthew and Olivia Kane. Both of them have played a lot of basketball. Both of them did a great job in their middle school careers. Both of them have a lot of upside to them. Will continue to improve, and they'll split some time on the JV as well. But don't be surprised if you don't see their faces a lot in the rotation, because those two can play basketball. I think they're going to surprise a lot of people. I think Courtney's 5'10", and she can play. The kid can play basketball, so she's done a lot of great things. And Kane is just a great kid to coach. She's a coachable kid. She's got a lot of athleticism. She does a lot of nice things. And then you look at, like I said, my JV. You got some more freshmen on there, Hope Hurley, Krista Johns, and then you have kids like Liberty Bate and Cammie Davis and Addison Veldman. All of them, like I said, I'll take all of them, and they all do a great job. Those girls on that JV team are going to get a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of playing time, and it's going to be good for them. They're a fun group to watch and coach.
Your squad, your JV squad, will play all full games as long as
other teams have, and we've run into that already.
Right.
We've had some school.
North Newton will play two. They're trying to play 2 quarters. So.
Yeah, and North White and Frontier. We lost the Hebron game. Hebron doesn't even have a girls team. They don't
have a varsity team?
No, they don't have a team at all this year.
Oh, really?
So we ended up picking up DeMont Christian instead to replace that game.
Well, that's good. You get somebody local, huh?
Yeah, Hebron was supposed to play them the night before they played us, so we just picked each other up for that game. So we didn't lose a game, didn't have to try to scramble to find one. So we've got them. So, unfortunately. Girls basketball around the whole entire state, not just in this area, but the whole state is really struggling right now to put teams together. And I was talking to our AD, and it's just frustrating. And we got to figure something out where we can try to continue to play the game and put 2 teams on the floor, a varsity and a JV, and continue to build programs.
Expectations for your team this year?
Well, 14-10. We need 3 more wins as a program to hit 100.
Might as well get them regular season.
Yeah,
right?
might as well get them while we can. And the expectations for this group are high. I can tell you that right now. The expectations for this group are very high, not just for me, but for themselves. They've set themselves up for some high expectations, which is awesome as a coach that they're taking that initiative. They're taking that responsibility of that. It's not having to come from me, but it's coming from them. So I'm just really excited for the chance for everyone in the area to get a chance to see what these girls can do.
I look at the numbers from last year as far as averages. Yeah, your group averaged 53 points, giving up 39. Would you take that again? Is that?
Oh yeah, I mean our goal at defensive average, our goal is 35 points or less, and that's what something is, since I've taken over here at Rensselaer, has been one of my prides is to have that defensive average at that point, and then 53 points. I would like that to be higher. I think we have the potential for it to be higher, and I hope with what we put in this summer and the girls buying into it and putting more time with their jump shots and their shooting. I mean, we have a 10,000 shot club that we implemented this summer, and 6 of the girls made the 10,000 shot club. And then I also had an 8th grader that did it as well. So they're putting into the time and hours, and hopefully, and I see it in practice. I mean, like I said, Sarah Kaufman is a totally different kid now as far as her shot wise goes, because she got confidence in it from putting that time and effort into it. So hopefully that 53 will go up. I'd like to see it around 65. And again, that defensive average, I take it at 35, but 39 is not bad.
See a lot of ats to start the year.
Yeah, a few years ago we had that same rotation where we were on the road. The first 4 games were on the road, and then we don't get a home game until we face Knox on that November 11th. So we're going to be tested here soon. I mean, West Central is going to be a good quality opponent. It's going to give us a lot of effort and heart, and Coach Mellon does a great job there. Those girls are going to give us everything that we can handle. And then we go to North Judson then on Saturday. So we don't have much time. And they got us last year on a squeaker in the last-second shot that we want back. And so the girls are hungry to go back there. And then, Hanover is never an easy place to play at. They are going to give us everything we can handle. And then, of course, Tri-County's, Missy's got a great team coming back from their sectional team last year. And it was a battle last year for us, and we didn't play well at times. So, we've got to come ready to play every single night. And then you get into that Hoops Classic, we got to face Harrison right out of the gate. And then we play the winner of BC and Lafayette Jeff. So we could have a chance to go back here to where our last game was on when we lost to BC, and see if we've learned from anything or not. But first we got to beat Harrison, obviously. But we could have that chance to run into them again, and you never know what might can happen.
Who's your conference? What are your thoughts?
It's going to be another battle again. I mean, you've got West Lafayette, who's got a good team coming back. You've got BC, who didn't lose anybody. They're coming back. You've got CC, who's always reloaded and coming back, and they've got a good core group of girls. And then you've got Twin Lakes, who may have lost a lot of seniors in their historic run last year, but they still got the Bousman girl and the Nickerson girl coming back. And you throw us in there, who I think are even better than we were last year, and it's anybody's ball game. It can happen to anybody. And I would put that side of the conference up against anybody in the state. Because night in and night out, it's a battle with whoever we put on the floor with each other. And if you look at and not that I'm into much rankings, but you look at some of the polls out there, they've got quite a few of us Hoosier Conference teams in the top 25 as far as girls basketball goes. So it's an exciting time, and we're looking forward to one of their goals is to win the conference, and that's what those girls want to do.
Coaching staff, same?
Coaching staff has stayed the same. Coach Van Meter, my right-hand man, the guy's been with me from the start. Coach Mann's her as well. She's on my left side doing everything I ask her to do. So both of those two are there again with us. Ed Kane's still doing my 8th grade. Jody Kaufman, she got married, so I have to change that, is our 7th grade coach. And then I do have a young coach and a 6th grade coach in Adeline Connor. Bedford North Lawrence, she's a new teacher for us at Rensselaer. I was looking for a 6th grade coach. I went down and asked her. She got all excited. And the great thing about her is her dad played with Damon Bailey, so she's got some knowledge there from Bedford North Lawrence. So she's doing my 6th grade for me. I'm excited for that. So a lot of great things going on, a lot of stuff, the same stability that we've had for the years, and excited for tomorrow night to get the ball rolling. And before you know it, we could be sitting here talking about sectional time. And this year's sectional is at Twin Lakes. We're still 3A. Next year we'll move down to 2A. So, where we end up at that point, I don't know.
And it seems to me like your schedule's front-loaded, and you play a lot of games early.
Yeah, we do. We hit, like I said, when we start going, it's every Thursday, Saturday, or every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. And then we get into that
Tournament's three game,
tournament
right?
3 game, yep. So we'll play that. And then we get, we got to turn around and play Lafayette Jeff. I mean, we got to turn around and play Twin Lakes on a Monday. And then we get into Winamac, and it just never stops. And
so
this year we
half of your schedule's done in November almost.
Right, yeah. And then, we added Andrean, which is going to be a good test for us, I think. And it's going to be at Andrean. So it's been a while since they came here and played us once and got us pretty good. But this year we're looking forward to going up there to Andrean and playing. So.
All right, Wes, we'll let you go, and we'll talk to you each week and see how you're doing, and we'll have your Tri-County game live stream on 3KG, and we'll see you next week. Good luck. All right,
thank you, fellas. And one last thing, I do want to thank Coach Meeks and all of the football players and the coaching staff. I coach football, and then when the basketball season rolls around, these guys pick up the slack for me so I can try to do both things, and it was a good place to be, and as he reiterated, those seniors are going to be well missed. So, all respect to the coaching staff of the football team and Coach Meeks, and looking forward to what we can do here for Lady Bombers basketball.
All right, Wes Radke from the Rensselaer Central Lady Bombers, back with more of the Coach's Cage right after this.
Anders Water Conditioning in downtown Rensselaer is here for all of your water supplies and softening needs. At Anders, we sell and rent water softeners, water coolers, and have all of your bottled water and salt needs too. Call Chuck to set up your consultation today. 219-866-7430. Anders Water Conditioning, family owned since 1991.
Shanley Construction, Pools, and Excavating has been improving area homes and businesses since 1973. Whether residential or commercial, they offer lawn care, installation of above-ground and in-ground pools, plus pole barn and new home construction. Shanley is your source for new driveways, parking lot expansions, as well as fence row and building site clearing. Start your project by calling Jim Shanley at 219-866-5955. Shanley, Rensselaer-based, family-owned. Call today.
If you're looking for some great food before the big game or anytime, stop by the Wagon Wheel Grill on South College Avenue in Rensselaer. From their famous Wagon Masters to their great homemade chili, the Wagon Wheel is the place to go to satisfy your hunger needs. Takeout is also available by calling the Wagon Wheel at 219-866-9942.
After a hard day's work or play, it's time for some relaxation, and there's no better place than Unwind on Front Street in Rensselaer. For massage therapy, facials, spray tanning, yoga classes, and wellness, stop by Unwind. They also offer student-athletes 30-minute massages for $25. Alina would like to thank Unwind's loyal customers for their patronage since 2016. To make an appointment, call Unwind at 219-869-0290.
Reinforcements Designs is a full-service graphic design, screen printing, and sign shop. They offer logo designs, screen printing, banners, signs, vehicle lettering and graphics, airbrushing, vinyl letterings, digital printed graphics, freehand engraving, and more. 37 years of design and graphics, Reem Bontrager will help you come up with a customized project of your ideal or plan. Just ask, give Reinforcements Design a call at 219-866-8626 for your next graphic design project.
continuing our farewell to the football coaches. Man, it came to an abrupt end last week. Billy, we were 0 for 4 on game semifinal games.
It was a tough week, yeah.
Yeah, it was a tough week. And this was probably the toughest one. Kankakee Valley coach Kirk Kennedy has joined us, and team battled New Prairie all the way to the end. Went to overtime, and Kirk, final score, and take us through the game.
Well, the final score in overtime was 28-21. They scored on their first play in overtime, and they got the ball first and scored on their first play. And
was it a pass?
It was a run.
Run.
Yeah, run to the right, and they kind of had it bottled up, and they runner, danced a little bit and found a crease and shot up in there and scored on the first play, and then we took over, and I think we got 2 yards on first down and maybe 3 on second. So the last 2 plays I know were from the 5. Threw a pass on third down, didn't get it, and then the fourth down was snap went awry, and you watched. I even watched the film 1,000 times in slow motion. I can't tell if it was a bad snap or mishandled or it just. I don't know. It just went in the cards for us. But, just looking at the game in general, we kind of traded punches with them for a while. And most of their scoring, they didn't really – because, their thing is they can just go away and hide. They'll 2, sometimes 3 tight ends and, quarterback and a running back. They're more or less in shotgun, and they like to run power. They spread your front out and make you defend extra gaps, and they'll line up and just hammer away at you. And if you can't stop them, it's going to be a long night for you. And we traded punches with them for a while, and our offense was doing okay. We were running the ball pretty effectively, but they got loose a couple times and had some long runs, and so it was 14-0 at the half, But we received the second half kickoff, and we were battling with them and competing, and things not like we were just getting hammered. So we go out for the third quarter and kind of more of the same, and I can't remember. We scored and made it 14-7, and they scored and made it 21-7, and that was the score with like 5 minutes remaining in the game.
Wow!
And we hit I think it was a fourth down play if I remember right. Fourth and whatever from about the 30, and we hit like a pass to Lane Zander in the back corner of the end zone down over by the scoreboard at the corner. And he barely got his feet in. I thought he was out of bounds, but I didn't really have a good angle on it because there was people celebrating and kind of in the way. But it was over there where it was iffy.
Sure.
But anyway, so it was 21-14, and anytime in a game like that where one team is, let's just face it, we were a decided underdog and they were a big time favorite going into the game. Anytime you can extend a game like that into the fourth quarter and still be in the game, a lot of times all that momentum and all that all that confidence, all that'll switch sides. So down the stretch, we were the aggressor, we were the team with the initiative, we were the team with the momentum, we were going at it, and after we scored to make it 21-14, then our defense held and got the ball back, and we were out around midfield and drove the ball a little bit. And
how much time was on the clock?
It was about 3 maybe. We hit another long pass down the middle of the field. Got tackled on about the 4. Adrian Nutchman caught that one, and then we pounded it in from there with a couple minutes left. And we go back and forth. We're going to go for 2 and all that drama, or just kick it and maybe go into overtime, and And in the huddle, I can't remember if we called a timeout or not, but we were over there, it seemed like, for an awful long time, so I think maybe we did call a timeout.
Yeah, you did. I remember correctly.
So we're talking about it, and we had a offensive coordinator, Coach Ragg, said he had a good play and this and that, so we're going to go for 2, right? Well, huddle breaks, and they're it's over by the sideline, so the huddle breaks are going to go out to the field. I yelled out, kick! So I chickened out at the very end. Gutless. But, I was just thinking, hey, we can either decide this game right here and now, or we can just play it out, let the kids decide and see what happens. So, let's just kick. And so we kicked and hit it, and our defense held and went into overtime. And, and like I said, they scored on their first play, and we kind of struggled a little bit in overtime and didn't. But, our kids gave a Herculean effort. I mean, just the way we stood toe-to-toe with it. Obviously that wasn't the goal. The goal was to win, and we didn't. But, you gain confidence in what you're doing, and, you're proud of your kids for where they played, and you get so close, in a situation like that, and, you're full of what-ifs. But the biggest problem I see in that game is, that's a game you can build off of. But now we're heading into the off-season, and we're going to have a different team next year. A lot of the same kids are back,
Right.
but still going to have, different chemistry, different leadership. There's no guarantee from one year to the next what kind of carryover you're going to have, regardless of who or what you got coming back. So there's really no chance to build on that, with that group, because that would have been, I think, a shot in the arm that would have launched us into something pretty special. Had that been like, say, a mid-year game or something, to where, we had an opportunity to gain momentum. But we'll just head into the off season now. Take a couple of weeks off and get into the weight room with the realization that more so than ever, what we do matters. Because we talk all the time about how, with winning comes responsibility, and mediocrity is no longer acceptable, and our systems, our way of operating, our day-to-day operations, our work ethic, our discipline, everything that we do as a program has to equal, the challenges and our goals. And if we want to win, we have to learn how to win every day, not just try to turn it on Friday after just, getting through the week. That's not going to happen. So, I think we're in a better place program-wise, culture-wise. You can just see that. Because traditionally a lot of KV football teams, and this is what I've been told. Obviously, I wasn't around much, but that a lot of KV teams late in the year kind of tend to taper off and kind of look off into the distance for other things to do, whether it be go hunting, play basketball, whatever. And we finished very strong. We finished on an uptick. We finished, with good, positive, strong trajectory, and
5-win season, but you started 1-4, so
yeah.
You really dug a hole but climbed out of it.
Yeah, and like I said, it's one of those things where, it always could have been better. You look at certain things like that season opening loss to Rensselaer, where we were right there, and made a few key mistakes late, and but you got to give Rensselaer credit for winning a game like that, and we didn't. So, it started the year off with a big rival game, 0-1, and then we, won against Wheeler and then Andrean. I think in the Andrean game, we gained some confidence and realized that we could compete. And because about halfway through that game is when we really started going toe-to-toe with Andrean, and just too little too late. And then the next week, I think, was the Hanover game. That was probably our lowest of the lows throughout the course of the year. And then we, am I right there?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm forgetting Hobart after Andrean. The Hobart game really was kind of like a track meet. We went back and forth with Hobart. It was 53-48 was the final in that one. Up and down the field. We were behind, I think by 21 points in the fourth quarter, and again, finished strong, came back. It's just that, avoiding getting down like that, so. But then after the Hobart game, that was the Hanover game that I spoke about earlier. And then we put together, a string of three pretty good games. We beat a good Culver team at home, Culver Academy, beat them at home, and I think that was our first win over, a quality opponent of our size that gave us some confidence, and we realized we could play. And the next game was the big rivalry game with Lowell for the milk can, and we won that game decisively, and our kids played really well that night, really well. And not only did we have a good game offensively, but we had a very sound game defensively as well. and that was just a game that you felt good about from top to bottom, winning. And after that was the Highland game. We went up to Highland and again played real well. And then that last regular season game, the senior night game with Munster, that was that nasty weather night, and we just didn't play well. Munster runs pretty physical. They like to feature the fullback dive in their option game, and we just didn't handle it very well, and got behind. I think it was 21-6 at the half, and came back in the second half, and again dug ourselves a hole. Had to get out of it, and we were driving for the winning score late, and we were on the 5-yard line within a minute to play. Had all of our timeouts, everything, and looked like we were going to win, and we fumbled the ball. So we ended up losing that game, 28-24, which was disappointing. And then we head into the playoffs and played West Side out of Gary at home and beat them 37-22, I think it was. And
it was a pretty exciting game.
Well, they started out. It was 16-7. They were whipping us pretty good, and we finally decided we want to play a little ball, and ended up winning going away, which set up the New Prairie game that we already talked about. But I was proud of our kids, for the way they battled, and it's a lot easier to continue on with say a tradition or within a program where things were already established and you're more or less inheriting things and carrying on the tradition. See, we're still in a situation where we're trying to create something. There's been winning seasons at KV, spread out here and there. Not a lot of championships of any kind. There's been a few, but not many. And so we're trying to be the genesis of that. We're trying to be the group that turns things around and starts, heading KV football in the direction we want it to. And I mean, that takes courage. It takes guts. Changing the culture. And, I mean, just the word change in and of itself. Human beings don't handle, at least I don't handle change very well. So, but, I think we made progress this year. Proud of our seniors for the leadership and the examples they set.
How many did you have, seniors?
We had 11 on the roster. 11 on the roster. Eli Deerdorf, one of our captains, defensive end, receiver, played tight end, briefly, but he was a high-impact player, especially at defensive end. Lane Zander, everybody knows Lane Zander. He was all over the place. He set a school record for receiving yards in a season, set another school record for kick returns for a touchdown in a season. Was a missile at safety, both in pass coverage and coming up and run support. Obviously, as a receiver and as a kick returner, he was very dynamic, game changing.
Second to none.
Yeah. I mean, he's the kind of kid. I mean, he was so fast that it just seems like he always had another gear. And I mean, he would outrun kids routinely that had angles on him. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. Just you think, oh, they're going to catch him, and they never did.
Exactly. So, it seemed like he just busts out of a big group, and man, it's so exciting to watch his.
Yeah, I got to where eventually people just quit kicking to him, and kind of took that fun away. Gabe Kistler, Gabe, he's great at. I could talk about these kids all night. Just their attitudes and their their differing personalities and how fun they were to coach. And
I remember calling Kistler's name all game.
Well, Kistler, defensive. Well, he played defensive tackle a lot, but he was kind of an end, depending on our front and what we were doing. But also our tight end and great hands. Gabe had a lot of key catches for us and made a lot of. And Gabe was I'm trying to think of what, maybe the night or the day before the Hobart game, maybe. I'm trying to think what game, but he had a pretty severe sprained ankle in practice on a Thursday, and I think it was the week of the Hobart game, if I'm not mistaken. And he came out there and played, the next night on about a leg and a half, and kind of nursed that through the season and aggravated it a few times, but more often than not, he just sucked it up and played with it. And you got to admire kids that are willing to, put their own personal feelings or personal situation aside and act in what's best interest of the team. Not that he was injured or anything to where he shouldn't have been playing, but when you see a kid showing toughness, you got to respect and admire that. And I think Gabe definitely put the team ahead, in that situation. Our fullback, Braden Swallow, he was, with our running game, his blocks were key up in there. Logan Burke, two-way lineman. He played right guard, and defensive tackle, senior captain. Logan, his emergence as a football player this year was really key. He filled a couple of holes in our lineup that we were kind of scratching our head about. So, Logan's emergence was key. Our kicker, throughout the course of the season, Alex Sayers, our kicker, he got a lot better. His kickoffs, I would venture to say his kickoffs probably 10 yards longer from the beginning of the year to the end.
Wow.
And, he hit, I believe, either 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 4 field goals. Can't really remember exactly which, but it was very accurate on extra points, just reliable. And heading into the year, that was a question mark. Cam Anderson played a lot of defensive tackle for us, kind of undersized, but big heart and big effort guy. And we had a group of 3 guys: Colton Jones, Brian Boone, and Wayne Goodman, that didn't really play a lot, but they stuck with the program and hung in there, and they were great scout team players, and they ended up earning a varsity letter at our awards program. So, you got to admire kids that show that perseverance and stick with it. Yeah. And you got to have program kids too, or you're not going to have a program.
Exactly.
And those kids are what they do behind the scenes, and they just keep coming back every day to go to work, and you got, like I said, you got to admire and respect that. We even had a foreign exchange student. Our recruiting was international this year.
There you go.
He was from Spain, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name, but his first name was Eduardo.
Had he played any football?
Well, he comes over here, from Spain, and he could have played soccer because he did that at home, and been comfortable and probably excelled on the soccer team, but he wants to experience America. So what's more American than tackle football, right?
That's cool.
So, there's I just kind of scratched my head, this Spanish kid wants to play football. I was like, what's this going to be, We're going to have to teach him how to put his uniform on and face him in the right direction. But no, he was first of all, he was athletic, and he picked up on things pretty quick. And we taught him how to kick a little bit, and he could kick. He kicked JV, and he played receiver and defensive back, and ended up doing, if you came to a practice and I said, hey, pick out the Spanish kid, you probably would struggle, and because usually you could look and just see that the kid just kind of doesn't blend in or doesn't look right. No, he did real well.
That's awesome.
So, yeah. And just, looking at the future, we got, on offense, we got 6 starters returning, and on defense, we have 7. So, we're going to miss some great kids that I just talked about, but we've also got a lot of great kids coming back. Start with our backfield and Diego Arroyo, our quarterback, and Marco Castro. Marco set a single-season rushing record with 1,718 yards. So, 17-18, that's easy to remember. But I think I was in high school then. but you talk about a good nucleus to build around when you got your quarterback and your
1-2 punch.
You got your quarterback and your running back coming back. Jason Parker is a play receiver in DB for us. Again, filled some holes that kind of scratching our head about in the preseason. Adrian Utchman, the receiver I talked about before, he's our leading receiver who's returning. And he returned a kickoff for a touchdown in the Hanover game, and just about did the other day, in the New Prairie game. So he's a speed guy and playmaker. So we're bringing him back, thankfully. Grayley Weaver, a utility player. He can play about anywhere. He's like a running back linebacker type, and he can play receiver. He can play defensive end. He can play safety. He's very versatile, and he's going to need to be again next year as well. Edward Ritchie, a kid that won our most improved award. He came out of nowhere this year to be a starting middle linebacker, and I think he tied Eli for our leading tackler. So he's back. These guys I'm talking about now are all going to be seniors next year. We got four returning offensive linemen, 3 of which will be seniors. Mason Kitchen, Gavin Renfro, and Gavin Joy, and along with Max Duttlinger. He was a starting sophomore in the offensive line. He played left guard for us. So another positive note is we have 4 of our 5 offensive linemen returning. Got some good sophomores. Jaden Anderson played all year at outside linebacker, defensive end. He's just a kid that's got a great nose for the football, and he's always around the ball. He'll probably be our fullback next year as well, so he'll probably be a two-way starter. He's kind of lean right now, but he's young, and I look for him to be a pretty dang good football player before it's all over with. I mentioned Max Duttlinger. He started at guard this year as a sophomore. Isaac Deerdorf, the last of the 3 Deerdorf boys, that he'll be. These guys will all be juniors next year. Isaac, I don't know, receiver, defensive back, special teams guy. Just again, somebody that's going to fill in some holes. And
wasn't he the backup quarterback too?
If we would have had to have gone to a backup, it probably would have been Eli Deerdorf, the one who's graduating.
Okay.
But Isaac, he was a JV quarterback. Sam Gartshore, a big kid that is turning into quite a football player. He's probably going to be our new Gabe Kistler next year at defensive end and tight end. Sam's, big kid, pretty athletic, runs well, played a lot of special teams for us this year. So at least he's seen the field and knows what Friday nights are all about. Brevin Whaley, he's I talked about Grayley Weaver earlier. Brevin is I think they're half brothers, if I'm not mistaken. They're brothers somehow, but a scrappy kid, kind of lean right now. Again, he's going to develop, but very scrappy. He was our scout team player of the year, getting beat up all year playing running back and played on. But I see him as a receiver and a defensive back next year, and probably turn into. I mean, he's a heck of a football player now. So Nolan Koistra, he played some safety, some outside linebacker. I think he played a little bit of corner. He's our backup running back. So he's back with a lot of experience. Chris Scott, linebacker, he'll probably step in there and see a lot of action. Miles Kitchen, Mason's brother, he could play fullback, he could play linebacker, he could play in the offensive line. Aiden Fuquay, a big kid, we ended up playing him at nose this year, like the last 3 or 4 games. As he was kind of a big young kid, so he kind of had to grow and develop a little bit. But I just kind of went down through the roster. I mean, there's 18 kids right there.
You did a lot of writing.
Next year's senior, arm's kind of hurting.
Man.
But that's 18 kids right there. Next year's seniors, next year's juniors, that we feel 100% confident in that. So I'm sitting there scratching my head thinking, we're going to be able to 2 platoon, but it won't work out like that. But
you have kids from the middle school that'll you think that could contribute next year? 8th grade, this year's 8th grade class.
Well, they ended up having we had some eligibility issues with some other players early on, but then they were able to get back out there, about halfway through the year and end up putting a decent season together. But I think we'll have enough numbers in the varsity where if they do contribute above the freshman level, it'll be a JV. Because, if you recall, we had to cancel our freshman season this year and basically bring those. We had 12 or 13 freshmen that stayed out, and they were basically assimilated into the JV. Yeah. So, we might have some holes that I think we'll have a solid freshman team. And we'll have a freshman, schedule next year again. But
that
some of
itself
those,
is good.
Oh yeah. So I think overall, the future looks bright. It's just from one year to the next, you never really know what you're going to get. But I was very happy with the progress we made this year. I thought the leadership was vital, as far as just like I said, taking the team in the direction it needs to go and next year's, leadership's going to have to be strong again because if regardless of what kind of physical talent we have returning, which is pretty good, if we don't have the leadership and the team chemistry in the locker room, and if everybody's not heading in the same direction with the same goals, then we're going to be our own worst enemy. So
Be a struggle.
Yeah.
Is your schedule the same?
Yes, just opposite locations, but same schedule.
Kirk, before I let you go, give it a chance to say thank yous to a lot of people that helped promote the KV football program.
Oh, sure. Well, start with our administration, very supportive. Starting out with Mr. Street, our superintendent, Mr. Spagna, assistant superintendent, Ryan Myers, our principal. Ryan's a KV guy. He played, he was an athlete there at KV, and I think I even coached against him, if I recall, back in the day. But, I couldn't ask for more supportive. Mr. Gray, the AD, Mr. Mueller, the athletic secretary, Mary, they basically been over backwards. How can I help? What can I do for you?
They treat us
how can we make things? Yeah, how can we make things better? They've obviously, you guys could see when you visit the campus, they've invested a lot in the facilities, and then they want to win. So and then they don't make any bones about it. They want to win, and we want to win, and everybody's on the same page, heading in the same direction. So
that's why they brought you here.
Well, an old guy like me,
but you know how to do it.
Well, yeah, we've done it at some other places, but every situation is different, and thankfully we are making some progress at KV. So just again, thank the administration, coaching staff. We got some guys that I worked with before, over at Lowell. Coach Stewart, Coach Ragg was one of our players over there. He's our offensive coordinator. Ryan Armstrong, I remember coaching against Ryan when he was a player at KV. Cody Scott, again, coached against him. He was a player at KV. Justin Fuquay, Coach Deerdorf is a guy that he can do. He's our defensive line coach. He can do so many things with technology and all that, and he's got a dry sense of humor. He's, Jake Voiko, their sense of humor. When we're all together, it's not like we're working. It's like we're, we get our work done. Don't get me wrong, but it's something that you look forward to because that the group dynamics are special and we all get along and we all want the same thing and not afraid to put the extra time and extra work in to get there. So I'm blessed to have a great coaching staff and our fans. We had some good crowds at our home games this year. Hopefully, you talk about crowds, but you got to put a product on the field that a crowd wants to come see, that a school and the community can be proud of, and that's our ultimate goal. But if we want people to come watch us play, that's up to us and the kind of product we put on the field. So, just like to thank Cougar Nation for their support this year, and the kids, the team. Sometimes you just go through your daily, day-to-day work, and then you don't stop and smell the roses. The kids, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of commitment, a lot of dedication. We ask a lot of them, and they just come back to work every day. And I think they're starting to buy in. More and more. Their culture is changing. We're starting to realize what we need to do to be successful. There's no shortcuts. If you want to win, you got to put the work in. Obviously the parents, for their support and encouragement, and football is very passionate, and people yell things, and we all want to win, we all want to be successful, and everybody's got their own way of doing things or what they think should be done and this and that. But I think in the end, the final analysis, we're all kind of heading in the same direction, wanting the same thing. It's just we're just thankful for that passion rather than people just sitting on their hands and
right.
But there's a lot to be thankful for. I'm very fortunate to be the head coach at KV, and I respect that, and I just think that that the future looks bright, and we're excited to get into the weight room and start building for next year.
Well, Kirk, we always enjoy coming up to KV to do your games, and really appreciate you coming in each and every week to chat a little football with us, and you're a joy to talk to, and good luck in the off season. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you. I might even do a few push-ups and things in that weight room.
There you go.
Got to keep young.
All right. Kirk Kennedy from the KV Cougars, back with more of the Coach's Cage on 3kgthecage.com right after this.
In agriculture, preparation is important. Dedication is you deciding what to plant and then asking what it will take for a good crop. How much work will it take to produce the final crop? In sports, preparation is vital in becoming the best you can be. Dedication is a will of achievements for a winning desire. Corbett Farms encourages everyone to do their best by having a winning spirit, attitude, and achievement. Your positivity will make a difference. Corbett Farms is proud to sponsor high school sports.
Meet you at Arnie's, Rensselaer's go-to pizza, and so much more. Pizza, sandwiches, burgers are here. Don't forget about dessert. Wings, cheese sticks, garlic bread too. Arnie's pizza menu has something for everyone. Dine in or carry out in the best pizza in town. Located across from St. Joseph's College in Rensselaer. Call 219-866-9999 and meet you at Arnie's.
Reinforcements Designs is a full-service graphic design, screen printing, and sign shop. They offer logo designs, screen printing, banners, signs, vehicle lettering and graphics, airbrushing, vinyl letterings, digital printed graphics, freehand engraving, and more. 37 years of design and graphics, Reem Bontrager will help you come up with a customized project of your ideal or plan. Just ask, give Reinforcements Design a call at 219-866-8626 for your next graphic design project.
Working with our customers has been Kentland Bank's trademark for 87 years. We're dedicated to making your visit a lasting one, and helping you achieve your goals is our #1 priority. With 5 locations, Kentland Bank offers all loans needed for today's businesses and families, including car loans, mortgages, agriculture, and commercial loans. We're here to make your busy life less hectic by offering online and mobile banking, bill pay, and P2P payments. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Welcome back to the Coach's Cage. Wrapping up our football coaches tonight. John Ewing from the North Newton Spartans has joined us. John, good evening. How's it going?
It's good. How are you guys?
All right. Well, North Newton finished up their season last week. Talk about the game.
Yeah, so we played Triton. In my opinion, they were probably the best team in our sectional. Really good football team out of a really good conference, a really tough conference. And I think you kind of see that how strong their conference is with Caston being 1-9 and knocking off an undefeated Midwest conference in North White. So we knew we were going to have a really tough battle with them coming in, and they were able to do some things that we were hoping to stop early on, and it just didn't go our way, which that's all right. We're a really young football team, and we try to be as positive as we can this year. And sometimes it's a little difficult with our finishes, but they were able to throw the ball on us a little more than we were anticipating. I think they set a school record on passing touchdowns, and then which I think it was 4. So nothing crazy, but it kind of tells you what kind of team they are normally. But yeah, we did some good things, and I think we kind of finished the second half when you get into guys with like experience, and we kind of showed who we were and how our varsity experiences has helped us this year against them, and we were able to score on the final play of the game. So I don't know if you can ask for a better end to your season, especially with the way ours kind of went. So all positives.
Go into talking about the season. I know you didn't win a game, but how do you handle something like that, or how did you handle it?
Right. So fortunately for me, and fortunate I guess is unfortunate, but this isn't the first time I've been through a season like this. So in 2009, we went through the same thing when I was at Tri-County. We had some circumstances with our head coach where he left to take another job after week 1, and the season kind of just unravels for you. This year coming in, and I've said it on here before, we had 9 guys show up to our first practice this summer. That kind of tells you where you're heading. We're spending a lot of the time, where teams are getting more advanced in week 5 and 6 and 7 and 8, right? We're still focusing on all of the basics of the game, blocking and tackling throughout the entire season, which I'm not saying any other team goes away from, but they may not have to spend the entire practice time on the same stuff. Where we were, just because of our inexperience and having a lot of young guys. And, you can kind of see that as teams grow through the season. And I think our growth in those fundamentals was the huge building block for me. When I look at a team where we're playing 5 or 6 freshmen on a regular basis, and you're talking 5 or 6.
That shouldn't happen.
No, and that's not to take away from all of our older guys. We had somewhere between 24 and 26 guys at all times on our roster, but we also had a lot of injuries. And we went into week 7 and we only had 15 active players. So we're getting into the point where we're having double-digit injuries on a roster of 25. That's an issue.
Tough.
But I mean that's football, and that's how this game hurts. When you play football, it hurts. It's supposed to hurt, and that's how we build these guys up, and kind of give them some life examples, I guess, from that. But for us, we weren't able to kind of move into the advanced stages of football at any point this year. We were spending a lot of time on fundamentals, and as teams get better throughout the season, kind of see that scores kept staying away from us and all that stuff. And for the biggest takeaway that I have from this season is that our kids never lost morale. When I talk about that previous season where I was on a team where we didn't win a game, you could feel morale dip. And I was a young coach, but you still felt it, and it kind of came everywhere. Here, our kids may have gone into a game and felt like maybe we don't stand a chance for this reason or that reason, but that didn't drag morale down. They all wanted to be there. I remember pretty clearly in 2009 when that sectional game was over, like there weren't a lot of tears shed.
Right.
Our kids this year, like, they felt it. And when you look over and the freshmen are upset, the sophomores are upset, you guys that know they're coming back, that's when something resonated with those kids, and the foundations of our program have been set. We talk about our program, it's built on our high five philosophy, which I won't go through the whole thing, but it's hard work, integrity, and playing for something bigger than yourself is really the whole meaning of our high five. And you see the Palms logo running out on a flag when we take the field. That's what it's for. It's a big part of everything we do. We talk about that every day. We're going to work harder than every other team, and our kids would tell you. And I know, talking to some of these other coaches that are at these radio shows, I'd probably say that we did. We were pushing circles and flipping tires in week 9 and 10, and we didn't shy away from it either. So our strength and conditioning program this fall and winter and spring are going to be huge, and we're trying to work with the conference and trying to build some things in that as well. And I know that the future looks bright for us. It's probably not going to come as quickly as I would hope, and it definitely didn't this year. But as well as I do, when you watch a football game, 3 or 4 plays can make a score look really bad. And unfortunately for us, a lot of those plays happened early, and we did some things to stop those plays later, but we got to get better at the beginning half, the beginning quarters, and kind of carry that through a football game. And I think that'll just come with our age and experience increasing every year as we move through this thing.
Who were your seniors that you're going to lose this year?
So you guys are going to get me all worked up. I'm a pretty emotional guy, so sometimes when I start talking, my emotions get the best of me.
That's all right.
Follow course on this.
Just look in the camera.
Right. So first and foremost, seniors. When we talk about seniors, the first 2 guys that I'm going to talk about are the first 2 guys that came through the door for us this year, and that was Caleb Johnson. He played running back or fullback for us, and outside linebacker, hybrid safety position in our stack defense. Caleb's a kid, eats, sleeps, and breathes football. It's the only sport he plays. It's the only thing he talks about. He ended it, I think it was week 6 at Frontier. He had a knee injury, and it ended his season early with an LCL tear. But he's still in the weight room every day in my class and working upper body and still talking football constantly, and we love that kid. And we are trying to create more Caleb Johnsons daily. That is a goal in our program, and our kids know it. The next kid is Diego Diaz, who I firmly believe Diego was a top 3, top 5 offensive and defensive lineman in our conference. Sometimes it didn't really show in the way that we played football and, kind of how our teams were compromised. He's a senior and he's got 4 sophomores next to him to the other side. And, you could kind of tell his importance because he played every position on our offensive line over the course of the year. We relied on Diego defensively as a nose tackle, and if you watch the film, he's – our nose tackle's job is to take on blocks and soak up blocks and keep them off of our linebackers. But, for a kid in that position to still finish with 50-plus tackles and, I think he had, 6 or 7 sacks in the season too. Like, that's an impressive year for a kid in that position. And I really think in the next years or a couple of years we're going to be watching Diego Diaz on Saturdays on a field somewhere. I know he's starting to get looks, and, that's something that's really cool for us to go through, especially me as a first-year coach. Then you've got Colin Williams, who played quarterback for us, also played outside linebacker and a little bit of that hybrid safety position as well. Colin's a kid, and this kind of, after you get out of Caleb and Diego in our senior class, all these other kids didn't play football. They either played as a freshman and didn't play until their senior year, or they didn't play at all. So Colin, I think he played as a freshman. He was a center when he was a freshman, and then he came in, and this summer I kind of fell in love with his arm, and he has a rocket for a right arm. And we played him at quarterback, and he definitely had his struggles there, but he was a fighter for us. He never backed down, always loved the challenge, and have him in class every day, and we're talking ball constantly, and football is definitely not his first love, but I think he fell in love with it this year, which is a beautiful thing for me as a coach to kind of be able to, start to attract some of those kids that football might not be their first sport. Alex Miller's a kid who came in late, just shined from the very beginning, probably the fastest kid on our team, probably the most athletic kid on our team all around. Unfortunately for Alex as a senior, he struggled with some injuries this year. He had a back injury that turned into, I think, a little bit of a concussion that he struggled with, and then had a pretty gruesome hand injury against South Newton where his finger gets caught up in a face mask. And, it was pretty gross. And he missed some time with that, with a break in that hand, and kind of hard to play receiver with a broken hand. I'll give him that, but doesn't mean I didn't give him enough during the season. So Alex Miller, great kid. Another kid that if we can get things to work out for him, and unfortunately he doesn't have the most tape because of those injuries, but I really think if we get him tested and get some of those numbers, he's another kid that we could see on Saturdays. I really do. Then we've got Tim Keeling. Tim's he's a fighter. Like he's a guy that wants to be there every day and would move heaven and earth to play football and get as much time in. The team loves him. He's one of the energy guys on the team, and football for him is something that he kind of struggles at on the mental side of trying to make sure he's in the right place in all the schemes and all that. And I didn't do him any favors. I'm going to be completely honest. My offense is pretty complex, and for better or worse, he struggled with that this year. But we got him in on defense, and he had some really good minutes for us in a couple of games. And we love kids like Tim. And then last but not least is Jesse Funk. And Jesse's, I think he played Pop Warner. His dad's a former coach, knows the game really well, and played his tail off for us. You could just tell with Jesse the big thing for him was, kind of those years off. He'd focus on, motorbike racing and all that stuff. And, he worked his tail off for us and never quit. But, if you're not – football is one of those things. If you're not getting better every day, you're getting worse, right? And I think Jesse's a prime example of that. He's just a kid that, the game kind of got away from him because he got away from it. And trying to get into it. Sometimes you get these seniors that want to come back and they haven't been in the game, and it comes at them quick, right? And that's not to take anything away from Jesse. He's a great kid. I tell all these guys I love them every day because I do. Those aren't just words from me. Like that's a full meaning. But sometimes that's the reality of the situation. If you don't do something for 4 years and you want to come back in your last year, struggles are going to be there. And Jesse definitely saw those this year. So those are our seniors.
So let's talk about the experience your young guys gained this year playing varsity. Will that help in the future?
Oh, yeah. So, you know, you get onto a Friday night field, and you get teams like Rensselaer and West Central, and, you know, they want to play football real nice and tight, and you get into those wing tee offenses and, you know, single wing offenses and, you know, whatever everybody else wants to throw at you. And there's a lot of deception involved, right? And the only way to really combat that deception is experience, right? And our kids are starting to see that. You know, it's hard when you've got a roster of 25 kids to get a great practice look. It's hard to, with just film, right? You know, we don't have VR sets and all that stuff to put them in the moment, right? So they're trying to build that experience through game reps, and we didn't have a JV team this year, so they didn't get that experience on a JV field. They had to get it on Friday Night Lights. So I think it's going to be really good for our freshmen and our sophomores in particular for them to, now the lights are going to be on every game, and they know that. That's not a shock anymore, right? The coin toss and the anthem at the beginning of the game, those aren't shocks anymore, right? They've been through it. They're kind of growing up in the fire. And there was a lot of fire this year. You can see our scorecard. So those are the big things for me, is that we're able to excuse me, we're able to use that experience as a positive and move forward.
What is there one key that you would challenge this group coming back to, change that the way games go, where you always got buried quick and it seemed like you were fighting an uphill battle?
If there is one key, it's the same thing that I've told these kids every day, and that's toughness and strength. I think at times they looked too much at the opposing team's roster, too much at the outside noise, right? You get a team like Carroll, their average offensive lineman was like 6'2", 275 coming in week one, and we didn't have a single kid like that on our team. It's just the nature of our roster, right? And this isn't a knock on our kids, but I think a little bit of it was we can't match up to that aspect. And that's a mentality that we have to change. That's a toughness aspect of our football makeup that we are changing in our program. I think, number one, that comes from the coach. And if I don't display that, then our kids aren't going to have that. Number two, it comes from our strength and conditioning program. I'm struggling. We have to increase our strength and conditioning program throughout this offseason and find a way to build their bodies and their minds up through that hard work and playing for something bigger than themselves. So I think toughness is the key there.
All right, we've got one more segment to tough through
here. I apologize.
You want a drink?
It's back there. I'll get through it.
Okay. Before we let you go, thank yous to whoever you want to talk to.
Right. So I want to talk first off. Rensselaer guy, I grew up in his program, and Coach George Gilbert passed away today. He was a Hall of Fame football coach at Clinton Central, and I wouldn't be here if it weren't for George. So I want to say, send my condolences to his family, the Clinton Central and the Tri-Central communities. And I'm an emotional guy, so that's going to get to me. I apologize. But yeah, George did more for me and my older brother than, most adults in our childhood. So we love George, and unfortunately with his passing is something we're going to struggle with for a while. Secondly, I want to talk about our coaching staff. Coach Curtis Finney was kind of with us. He joined a little bit late. He came in just before week one. Guy was by my side every day, and coaches like that are invaluable to programs. And for me, coming up from a place where I didn't have any contacts, building that connection with Curtis was huge. Isaac Ayler, another guy, came in this summer. Unfortunately for Isaac, we had some stuff with his work schedule change and kind of limited him a little bit, but, full buy-in from Isaac, and I have no complaints about what he was able to do for us. And I can't wait to work with those two for years to come and build something special here at North Newton. Matt Gibson, who was our junior high football coach, and the junior high program had from what I know, is the best year they've had in a long time.
That's good to hear.
It's great to hear. Numbers in 8th grade are fantastic as well, so hopefully our numbers go up just based off of that, and we get some more kids to come out next year too.
Awesome.
Matt is he is North Newton through and through, and if our school would build themselves around his vision, we'd be in a lot better place. I don't know what's wrong with me. I apologize.
It's all right. We're about finished.
And then, Coach Ray, Coach Hand, Coach Cat helping Matt out in the junior high staff. I know he had nothing but positive things to say about all three of them. And, we're going to build our program through that junior high program and our feeder program. So watching those kids have success, even though we struggled on the varsity field, was a huge positive for us. So huge thank yous. And I also want to say thank you to the whole community. It would have been really easy for a lot of parents to turn their backs on me and kind of run away from my teachings to their kids, and I didn't have any of that this year, and it showed in our attitudes, our parents, our students' attitudes, and the whole school, and how they supported us all the way to the end. So those are the really big shout outs.
North Newton has great people there. They deserve to win. They really do.
We'll get there.
I think I hope you can stick it out. And
we talk about being elite and what that word means to us, and it's setting the standard, and we set a standard this year for our program and how we're going to work and how we're going to improve every day. And a lot of the scoring problems are on me, not our kids. I'm an aggressive coach, and I didn't want to back away from some things. So we had a lot of bad turnovers in situations that probably other coaches wouldn't have. But at the same point, we play football a little bit differently than those kids have ever played before. So we'll get there. And another year, some more work ahead, and none of our kids are going to back away from it, I promise you.
Well, Bill, we've got to say we really appreciate John. First year coming in. It's easy to come over here when you win every week or you have a big winning record and talk about your wins, but it's hard when you're on a losing streak and you have a rough time every week. But he was here each week, and you don't know how much we appreciate you coming in each week for that.
Well, I won't talk about anybody else, but for me, I took this job expecting to be here until I retire. I told myself I would never take a head coaching job unless it's somewhere I wanted to be, and this is a place I want to be. So if we're going to build a program, we're going to do it by winning the kids over, winning the parents over, winning the community over, and this is a big part of it. So we really appreciate everything you guys do for us, and I think anybody that's missing this is missing out on an opportunity, and I can't afford to miss too many opportunities right now. I don't know if you can tell.
All right, John, good luck in the offseason, okay?
Thank you, fellas. I really appreciate everything. Go
Thanks,
Spartans.
All right. John Ewing from the North Newton Spartans, back to wrap things up with Chris York from North Newton Lady Spartan basketball after this.
Pulver Psychological Services offers psychological counseling, consultation, and assessment. Locally owned and operated, Pulver Psych focuses on solutions for the community and serves as support for individuals, families, and organizations. Whether you're in need of personal, family, or success counseling, Pulver Psychological Services can help you reach your life goals. Increase work satisfaction, have better relationship compatibility, improve sports performance. Get in touch with Pulver Psychological Services by visiting pulverpsych.com.
Hi, this is Chuck Clark with the Underwood Insurance Agency, formerly Preferred Insurance Group. Are you tired of being sacked every month with your auto insurance bill? Do you feel you just pay your premium to your agent and never hear from them? We at the Underwood Insurance Agency work with over 10 insurance carriers to get you our best rate and coverage we can, and we pride ourselves on serving our customers like they are our family. We are conveniently located in Remington and Lafayette. We can be reached at underwoodagency.com. Reach out to us to score big savings.
High-quality personalized dental service is what they do at Hillcrest Dental. For over 40 years, generations have relied on Hillcrest Dental for beautiful, healthy smiles. Dr. John Ayler and Dr. Jack Drone look forward to seeing you for your next dental visit. For information or to set your appointment, call 219-866-7117. That's 219-866-7117 or visit hillcrestdental.net. Hillcrest Dental is a proud sponsor of all high school athletics.
24/7 Club Fit is a 24-hour keycard accessed fitness center located in downtown Rensselaer. The 8,000 square foot facility offers free weights, weight machines, and a large variety of cardio equipment. We also offer free aerobics classes. 24/7 Club Fit offers 6-month contracts starting as low as $25 per month for students, those 55 years and older, and there are no sign-up or keycard fees. We also participate in the Silver Sneakers program. Call 219-866-0033 or contact us on Facebook. 24/7 Club Fit, where time is no excuse.
Bob Kurtz, Bill Kay, Scotty Miller back at Arnie's. We haven't seen this guy since February, I think, huh? Chris York from the North Newton Lady Spartan basketball team. Chris, good to see you. Good to see you. How you doing?
Doing all right. It's great to be back.
You're the cleanup man tonight, so let's talk about last year. What'd you finish? How many seniors do you had lose off last year's team?
Well, we finished up 5-20 last year. Went into the sectional 3-20 or 3-19 and won 2 games and got to the championship and got beaten pretty handily by Andrean, but that was kind of supposed to happen. But we got a couple extra wins. We lost 2 seniors, Madeline Ehrenholtz and Lexi Cunningham both moved on. We lost another player, 2 players. One of our players last year was an exchange student from Spain, so she went back. Otherwise, we would have had her this year. And then we had a sophomore last year, Taylor Matul, who she's got some back issues. Hopefully, she gets those fixed, and maybe we can have her back next year. But for right now, she finished the volleyball season, and she's not going to be with us. So we lost those 4 players from last year's team. And
so you got 11 on your team.
We have 11 on our team. I mean, last year when we started, we had 9. And then we had 5 kids come out. One was a junior, and then we had some freshmen come out. And the freshmen that came out last year didn't come back out. So, we are here with 11. It was 10 as of last Tuesday. And a senior came out that we've been trying to get out, Summer Wynn, who is one of our better volleyball players and softball players. She's a really good athlete. She decided to come out, and I think that's going to help us out quite a bit. I've only seen her for a few days, but it looks like she's going to fit great. I mean, all the girls love her, obviously, because, they've gone to school with her and they've played in other sports, but she just adds some more athleticism and some toughness, and for what she lacks in years that she hasn't played, she just wants to absorb everything. So
scoot that up to your.
Scoot this up.
There you go.
All right. So everything I've said so far has been.
No, we can hear you, but now we can hear you better.
Now we can hear me better. But
so will you have a JV team or no?
We are going to try to play JV quarters. We're going to try to play 2 quarters.
2 quarters.
Just because I think it's necessary. I mean, we've got 1, 2. We've got at least 2 girls that I don't think really have played before, and they show some real promise. But I think we need to get people as much playing time as possible. And if getting into the varsity games isn't going to be a possibility, then we need to be able to have them play some. Otherwise, there's no purpose in them being out and just practicing. So with our 11 girls, and actually we've got one girl, Juliana Galvin, who's kind of down right now, and she'll be back, but we're down to 10. So playing those couple of quarters is going to be difficult. The kids are going to get tired, but I think it's something we have to do. Definitely.
Was it important for you guys to finish that with that sectional, going in there and playing strong, coming up with 2 wins? Does that carry over a little bit into this year?
I think so. I think that we talked about it last year where, the luck of the draw was definitely on our side, playing 21st Century first and then playing Whiting, teams that we could handle, teams that we could play with.
But you had to show up.
Right, we absolutely did. I mean, even both those games weren't maybe what they could have been, but they were wins, and that's all we were looking for. I talked to the girls on Monday because they played their scrimmage on Thursday night against DeMott Christian, and I wasn't there because my son runs for Indiana State, and it was his conference meet. So we flew down to Nashville and watched him run and all that, and spent the weekend in Nashville. But when I talked to the girls, one of the things they said was they think that with last year having so many kids that hadn't really played varsity, last year McKenna was really the only person that got real time in the previous year on varsity. So everybody last year was learning the speed and what the game was about. And, McKenna was the one that made the comment that it felt a little bit more comfortable. It didn't feel like last year when we played the Jamboree and we just got pounded by Tri-County and DeMott Christian. We played DeMott Christian. We held our own until we were just dead tired in the third and the fourth quarter of it. But in the first and second, we were just a few points away. So I think it's made a real difference. I think I'm a lot more comfortable. I'm no longer trying to learn the atmosphere, learn the environment, and learn the kids. I know them. I know what to expect. I can be more myself and less kind of dipping my toe into the water and really kind of jump in. We're doing things differently. We're going to do some different things on offense and defense just based on what we were last year and what things didn't work. So I'm doing things differently. I've got a whole new staff. One of the staff members we had moved to another school. Another one has school and work that are conflicting. So I've got my varsity assistant is Lyle Busboom, and he was our 8th grade coach last year. My JV coach is Chloe Vanderwall, another St. Joe's person, just like John who walked out. And our 8th grade coach is Nick Cahill, and we now have to find another 7th grade coach. But these coaches are all at practice, and they're learning what we're doing, and they're interjecting things, and they're helping out, and it's really working out very well. So this year already has started off on a much better foot. We had a good summer. We played some games. We played at Beecher. We played at Donovan just to get some games in. We had some kids showing up in the summer. We had some kids showing up in the preseason. I would leave cross-country practice and I'd have 5-6 kids, which is pretty good. It was just time for the kids to shoot. So everything right now is a lot better than what it was in my first year, just learning things.
Tell us about some of the people you're going to rely on to contribute this year.
Okay, well, of course, McKenna comes back, McKenna Schliemann, and she was our leading scorer last year.
What did she average?
She averaged, and that's why I brought this. You said I had a lot of papers, but and now the problem is I need to be able to read it because I refuse to wear those cheaters. She scored 14 points a game, right?
Do you think she can do more than that this year?
I think so. I think that there's often games, and she's probably listening because I know she does, but there's games where she leaves points on the table where we get really good looks and we just have to finish them. When we're in practice, I joke and I'm like, she gets close and I say, dunk it. Obviously, we're not going to dunk it, but there's times where we leave points on the table. And, one of the things that we're changing this year is, we've got to do something so that everything doesn't just revolve around her, where when the other team cracks down on her the way some teams did last year, Faith Christian and others, and she's just completely non-existent. We can't afford to be that anymore. So I think people have more confidence, but we're going to have some different continuity where hopefully more people can get involved. Points-wise, there weren't very many points coming back. June Busboom scored 2.2 points a game, and Cheyenne Cahill scored 2.5. We just don't have a whole lot of points coming back. But I think that them being thrown into the fire last year for the first time is going to be invaluable. You can already see some of the confidence in practices. People kind of knowing what they're doing, even with the new things we're doing.
Now, didn't I remember that one of your major problems was turnovers last year?
Oh, good Lord, yeah. We averaged 33 turnovers a game.
Ouch.
Yep.
That needs to go down at least 10 to
It
15, doesn't it?
It'd be great. I mean, if we could average somewhere under 20, man, oh man, we'd be so much better. I mean, we said it last year. You can't score any points if you don't have the ball. So, we still have some of the same stuff at practice where we've got unforced turnovers and we're throwing the ball all over the gym. But, you just have to think that at some point that's going to turn around a little bit. Some other players that came back. Dakota Dyer is now a junior. She's a guard. Let's see. Summer. We already talked about Summer. Ava Ivy is a senior. So I think I've now covered all 4 of the seniors. Excuse me. Yeah, June Busboom. We already mentioned with the scoring points and stuff. She's a guard. She can shoot. And last year she started kind of getting into a little bit of a rhythm, and I think that helped us out quite a bit. And then Piper Ivy is the only sophomore we have. And she's very athletic. Very athletic. Raw basketball-wise, but very athletic. So she's only a sophomore. And then we have, I forgot a junior, a newcomer, Paige. I can't think of her last name right this second. Paige Culbreth, yes. Everybody's on a first-name basis with me right now. So Paige Culbreth, and she really hustles. She's got some speed, and she really wants to know what's going on. So, like, Summer coming back, Paige coming in, they're just like sponges because they're wanting to do everything right. And you wish everybody wanted to be that way and not make this cut, round it off, and do this, things that you repeat all the time. They always want to do everything exactly right. And then a couple freshmen, Jalen Lucas and Macy Busboom. So our numbers are real low, and that'll change in the future. We already had our call out for middle school. We've got 10 8th graders and 13 7th graders. There was a message that went out from the West Central coach. He wants to have a league of 2nd graders, 3rd graders, 4th graders. I would love to see about, getting that started. Because doing something like that might be easier to do than having an in-house. I don't know. But either way, just getting more people practicing and getting a ball in their hand is going to be big for the future.
Expectations for this year?
I'm not going to mess around and give you any kind of numbers because last time...
Yeah, nobody ever does that.
Well, no, plenty of people do, and the time I did it killed me. So, but you look at the schedule, and we've lost some games. We don't play KV anymore. We don't play Couts anymore. Hebron, we don't have them on the schedule anymore.
They don't play.
They don't play, right?
Have you ever heard of that before? A team just not playing a year?
No, and it's unfortunate. I mean, when I was at Calumet, I thought that was a possibility when I showed up to the first practice and I had 3 girls.
Yeah.
But the Hebron Hawks, I mean.
Well, exactly.
That's a basketball.
From what I understand, they've got a lot of kids in the 6th and 7th and 8th grade. It's just this year's not going to work out. So, I hope for their sake that they are right back next year. I've heard that maybe they're going to play some JV games, but they're not going to play varsity games. We don't have Benton Central anymore on the schedule, but we have a lot of new teams on the schedule. We have Calumet, which we play on Friday. We have Westville is new. Whiting is new to the schedule, but not the sectional. We play Attica. We play Donovan. Those are all new teams. So we go from playing teams like KV and Benton Central that, when we play them, we play Andre, and it looked like, and we play Rensselaer, there's times. You play them, and it looks like they're playing a different game than you are. We've got some teams that hopefully we can compete with a little bit better. We've got a really tough beginning.
Little double weekend this weekend.
Yeah. I mean, that's the start of it. We go Friday, Saturday. So I go back to Calumet Friday night. We play against Lowell on Saturday morning. And then we get 7 days off, but we go the 14th at Westville, the 16th at Whiting, the 18th at home against Hanover, the 20th against Attica. So that's a big clump of games.
Early, yeah.
And it slows.
Ready.
Yeah. I mean, But when I coach my middle school cross country kids, I say that you get better at racing by racing. So maybe by playing these games, we won't have a lot of time to prepare for these individual teams, but we're not at a point right now where I'm breaking down tons of tape and saying we have to do this against these guys. I'm more worried about us.
Right. Sure.
And whatever we do against them is gonna help. We have a little bit of a lull where we can kind of regroup a little bit, but then when we get back to December, we go December 2, 7, 9, 12, 14. So we've got a couple big clumps, and then maybe that means that when we get to January, things will slow down a bit and go into sectional and see what we can do. But I'm looking forward to it. I think looking at the schedule, and you asked for expectations, I expect us to look better than what we've had in the past. I would expect us to, in my second year, hopefully start to look more like a team that I coach. And I'm really the only one that can decide whether that actually happens or not because they don't know. But it's something more indicative of the way I do things. So I'm trying to kind of put my stamp on it, not just for this year, but for the future coming up. Because I think the future is bright. We're going to lose some seniors after this year, but we've got an influx of a lot coming in. And I think that'll be a start to really kind of turning the tide because we're in an odd situation. I said it last year, where everybody in the conference had teams that weren't really senior laden, and they're just getting better. They're like rising. Well, after this year, some of those teams will lose some of those seniors, and we will then hopefully be on the rise as one of those teams to really watch because some of these other teams will be losing some established players. And I know everything's cyclical, so maybe we can start that cycle of good basketball at North Newton again, like they used to be.
Thoughts on the Midwest Conference?
It's going to be tough. I mean, like I said, I kind of think that us and South Newton are kind of looking up at some of these other teams. I think Tri-County is going to be a really good team because of who they return. Faith Christian had their best two players were freshmen, and they had an outstanding 8th grade team. So the rich kind of just keep getting richer, and Frontier and West Central, they didn't really have a bunch of seniors, and they were good teams last year. DeMott, we saw DeMott. And they're going to be good too. They're coached well. So, it's another tough conference. I would hope that we could finish, better than what we did last year. Last year we were next to last. I'd like to move up a little bit, but we're going to have to climb somebody to do that. And again, a lot of these teams have things coming back that we really don't. So, just maybe playing this new style, playing with another year of experience, maybe that'll make all the difference.
Talk more about what you hope to accomplish the first couple games here.
What I hope to accomplish the first couple games?
Yeah.
Well, I would hope that at least one of them could be a win. The kids that are at Calumet, at least from when I was there, there might be 2 or 3 kids that are seniors, but there also might be kids that this new coach had recruited, just out of the hallways to have kids come out and play, something that I couldn't do when I wasn't there. I know that Calumet's going to be playing a lot of zone, but I think athletically, for sure, we're going to match up with them very well, and I would like to hope that we could have the upper hand on that. Now, Lowell already has a game under their belt. I think they beat Wheeler 50-something to maybe 38. That's what Coach Radke was talking about. They're another team. They're going to press us for sure, and they're gonna play their zone in the half court once they're done pressing us. If we can get through that, I would like to think that we'll be able to hang with them. Last year, we were dead in the water after the first quarter, so the rest of the game was just kind of gross. But hopefully we can stay in it, and I think that'll be a big thing to do. And then we have a week to prepare for River Forest after we get done with Calumet and Lowell. But I would like to be competitive, especially with Lowell after what they did to us last year.
You started out last year 0-7. That had to be tough for every aspect of the team. But if you can get a couple wins early, how important would that be?
That'd be huge. Just for mental well-being.
Right.
Nobody wants to start 0-7, especially with a new coach. And, anybody that knew the team, even some parents were like, man, it's going to be rough. Because they knew how much varsity experience was really there. But now we've got people that have played, and, not starting the season with an offer is going to be huge. Just being able to get into some kind of rhythm, maybe looking at things, maybe being close to 500 or maybe a hair over 500 by the time we get to that Thanksgiving break. That'd be fantastic. Because coming right out of Thanksgiving, we have Lake Station. We know they're going to be good. They're always good. So, it'll be really big to get a couple wins here at the beginning. And it gives us more to talk about here.
That's right, exactly. Exactly. And we want to do some talking, that's for sure. We appreciate it. Good to see you again. We appreciate you coming over each and every week. Look forward to doing some Lady Spartan games, and we'll see you next week, all right?
All right.
Thanks,
Love
Chris.
being here. Thank
All
you.
right. Chris York from the Northern New Lady Spartans back to wrap things up on the Coach's Cage on 3kgthecage.com right after this.
Hi, this is Chuck Clark with the Underwood Insurance Agency, formerly Preferred Insurance Group. Are you tired of being sacked every month with your auto insurance bill? Do you feel you just pay your premium to your agent and never hear from them? We at the Underwood Insurance Agency work with over 10 insurance carriers to get you our best rate and coverage we can, and we pride ourselves on serving our customers like they are our family. We are conveniently located in Remington and Lafayette. We can be reached at underwoodagency.com. Reach out to us to score big savings.
After a hard day's work or play, it's time for some relaxation, and there's no better place than Unwind on Front Street in Rensselaer. For massage therapy, facials, spray tanning, yoga classes, and wellness, stop by Unwind. They also offer student athletes 30-minute massages for $25. Alina would like to thank Unwind's loyal customers for their patronage since 2016. To make an appointment, call Unwind at 219-869-0290.
Anders Water Conditioning in downtown Rensselaer is here for all of your water supplies and softening needs. At Anders, we sell and rent water softeners, water coolers, and have all of your bottled water and salt needs too. Call Chuck to set up your consultation today. 219-866-7430. Anders Water Conditioning, family owned since 1991.
If you're looking for some great food before the big game or anytime, stop by the Wagon Wheel Grill on South College Avenue in Rensselaer. From their famous Wagon Masters to their great homemade chili, the Wagon Wheel is the place to go to satisfy your hunger needs. Takeout is also available by calling the Wagon Wheel at 219-866-9942.
Founded in 1931, Community State Bank in Brook is your community bank. We specialize in relationship banking while offering the technology required to meet your modern banking needs. Community State Bank is the area leader in new construction loans and home mortgages. Our lenders know small business and have products to meet your farm and business needs. We're available to get to know you and your needs today at 224 West Main in Brook or by calling 219-275-2441.
Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
All right. Well, a bit long, but we always expect long when we end one season and begin a new one. It just happens to be that night where the two seasons collide, but we got all night. I'm not doing anything anyway, so I appreciate everybody hanging in there. If you hadn't catch us live, you can catch us on the replay anytime. Just go to 3kgthecage.com. We're right there, or on our Facebook page too as well. So really good to have you back. I really enjoyed it. He had a lot to the program, and what can we say about Scotty? Scotty is the glue here, man. That
couldn't do it without him.
And going to even bring Scotty on the road with us a couple times
That
this
would
year
be
when
great,
we can break him free from his other responsibilities. So, hey, our first game will be November 9th. That's a week from tomorrow. And it'll be Tri-County and Rensselaer girls.
Starting out with a bang.
Tri-County girls won the sectional, of course, last year, and Rensselaer always has a good team, so it should be a good one. And we'll have to check the starting times because I don't know. I think everybody has a JV team, but not for sure. So we'll know next Wednesday what starting time that is. So, all right, Billy, good to have you back.
Thank you. Good to be back.
All right, until we greet you next Wednesday on the Coach's Cage at 6 o'clock, live from Arnie's. Thank Arnie's here and all the sponsors. For Scotty Miller, Bill Kay, this is Bob Kurtz. So long, everybody.
The proceeding was a presentation of 3KG Community Broadcasting.